shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Raptors forward Jontay Porter has been banned by the NBA for gambling violations. League investigation revealed he disclosed confidential information to sports bettors, limited his own participation in at least one game while he was with Toronto, and bet on NBA games. Pelicans power forward Zion Williamson will miss Friday's play-in game versus Sacramento due to a hamstring injury. The 76ers will likely have their best player on the floor when they face the Heat in the East 7-8 play-in matchup tonight. Joel Embiid, who tweaked his surgically repaired knee last week, is expected to play. One of his teammates, though, will have a big night tonight, predicts ESPN NBA analyst Tim Legler.
Tyrese Maxey might be the headliner coming out of this game tomorrow. What's going to happen tonight? The overcompensation you have to give Joel Embiid is going to create so many opportunities for Tyrese Maxey. I do not think the Heat defensively on the perimeter have what it takes to slow him down. I think he has a huge night and sets the stage for a deep run for Embiid.
After Philly-Miami, it's Hawks Bulls East 9-10 game, 9 Eastern on ESPN Radio, 9:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Kennedy, coming up Thursday. Just how many QBs will go in the first round? I'll tell you when I drop my new mock draft at 6:30 Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Plick. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yeah.
It's hump day.
Pell's lost.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Zion's hurt.
Hump day.
I hate everything.
It's hump day.
We'll do a show anyway.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
First LSU players hit the portal.
Hump day.
We got some portal offers out there for the Tigers.
It's hump day.
We got mock draft.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Malik Neighbors to the Saints.
Hump day.
So say some.
It's hump day.
Out of obligation, we'll head to the plains of Auburn.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Spring recap.
Hump day.
We'll talk booze with Taylor Calandro.
It's hump day.
We'll do Pluckers trivia.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Taylor Swift trivia today, by the way.
Hump day.
Well, I'm cooked.
It's hump day.
I think you're going to be okay.
No chance.
Yeah.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Says the guy who had a perfect round on anime.
It was lucky.
Oh, or maybe you're just an anime nerd.
Multiple choice.
It's hump day.
All right, we got a lot to do. Let's get to it. Normally, I love to bring the energy, but, yesterday sucked. So anyway, let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top.
on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
It's a tough loss. We're all going to feel this tonight, but we're all proud of our group and how they fight. They battle to the end, and we made our adjustments. We responded in the right way. We just came up short.
The dejected voice of Pels head coach Willie Green. Not much defending what has happened to this team. You had everything in front of you, and your inability to walk through the open door is maddening. You had a 6-game homestand. You went 1-5. You go on the road. You do what needed to be done. You set yourself up for a 1-game win, and you're in. Avoid the play-in, and you gag at home against the Lakers. Now you're in the play-in against the Lakers, and you come out really strong, and you're up double digits, and then you just absolutely go ice cold in the second quarter. You're trailing double digits at half. You try to dig yourself out of the hole in the second half, give yourself a chance late, but BI's on the bench. Zion gets hurt, and you end up losing to the Lakers. Now LeBron and the Lakers are in, and you're playing against Sacramento Friday for your life. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I did sit here yesterday at this very moment and tell you the best-case scenario, obviously, was for the Pelicans to lose to the Lakers, play the Kings, who they've dominated this year, 5-0 against the Kings this season, on your home floor, and if you're in, you get to play OKC as opposed to being the 7 seed where you play Denver, where your playoff life would be short-lived. So, yes, there is obviously that component of it, but it doesn't make watching last night or what's happened over the last 2 weeks any easier to stomach, because this is a team that, after making the play-in 2 years ago without Zion and winning the play-in and getting into the tournament, even though you lost to Phoenix, the feeling last year was, okay, build on it. Well, then you basically don't have Zion for the whole year last year, and you missed the playoffs altogether. You have Z, and now you're thinking, all right, take that step. Avoid the play-in. Yet here you are in the final game of the play-in, fighting for your life on your home floor against Sacramento. And to add a swift kick to the nuts on top of everything that's already happened, Woj had this report just a bit ago.
Devastating news for this New Orleans Pelicans team. I'm told that Zion Williamson is out for Friday's play-in elimination game against the Sacramento Kings. He had some imaging done today on that left hamstring that caused him to leave in the final minutes of a loss to the Lakers, where Williamson had perhaps his most compelling game as an NBA player. He is out not only Friday for that play-in game, but even if the Pelicans were to beat Sacramento, I'm told that he'll be reevaluated in the weeks to come.
Weeks to come. So it's unlikely that even if you do advance to take on Oklahoma City, you'll be playing without Zion. I mean, how about just toying with your emotions? Do you realize Zion had 40 and 10 against the Lakers on Tuesday night? That was Zion's first playoff game, or I guess post-regular. He's not really in the playoff. Playing first game past the regular season of his career. And that was his first 40 and 10 game of his career. First time in his career, he had 40 and 10. It was 11, but his first 40 and 10 game of his entire career. It came in his first postseason action. And in the final 3 minutes of that game, 3:13 to be exact, Zion's not on the floor. He's in the locker room with a hamstring injury. After playing a career-high 71 games this year, living up to so much of the promise that a lot of us had for him when he was drafted number 1 overall, what an absolute gut punch. A poke in the eye, a swift kick in the gonads, the nether region. What an awful experience of fandom last night was. That has to be what it's like to be a fan. Like, what is an awful franchise that just always expects the worst? Like the Cleveland Browns? That has to be what it's reminiscent of. Like, when you're the fan of a franchise that just always expects the absolute worst thing to happen to your team, whatever franchise that is. Historically, like the Detroit Lions, when you just know it's not going to go well for you, that's the Pelicans. That's what they are now. And they'll tease you with promise and hope. 2 years ago, when they got CJ at the trade deadline and they went on that run, and we're all thinking, man, you're getting Z back next year, going to build upon this. They got a shot, and then they come back, right? Like yet last year at the, they're approaching the halfway point. 1 point they They beat Denver, and they're in the 1 seed at one point. And you're thinking, this is it. It's finally culminating. And now here we are a year and a half after that, just completely dejected and devastated without any real feeling of optimism. I know this is a turd in the punch bowl. It's a fart in church. It's nothing anybody wants to hear today. It's like you usually want some energy and some optimism. I have nothing for you today. I have nothing. I have zero good to tell you. Here's this. I did write this down. The Pels have played Sacramento 5 times this year. Zion played in 4 of those 5. Here were his stat lines: 26-3, 25-5, 10-6, 31-7. Zion played in 4 of the 5 games against Sacramento. Of course, you're 5-0 against the Kings this year. The one game that Z didn't play against Sacramento was on January 7th. That was at Sacramento, by the way, and you won it 133-100. You led by 50 in that game. CJ McCollum had 30. So there's your optimism, is the fact that even without Z, you've owned this team. They don't have Malik Monk. You should win the game on Friday on your home floor, even without Zion. If you have a pulse and any amount of pride, maybe you show up, you play hard, and you beat a team that you've just owned all year. And you should. And then you get into the playoffs against OKC, and you'll see if you can figure out how to go win a best-of-7 without Zion. But I got news for you. The Pels have had to try to figure out how to win without Zion for 5 years now, largely. So I'm not blaming the kid for having a hamstring injury. It sucks. As a fan, it sucks. I'm sure it sucks for him and for all these players. You go play 82 games. You're in this 2-game play-in now, trying to fight for your season. And the guy that's supposed to be your franchise tweaks his hamstring with 3 minutes to go, and you're not going to have him on Friday or likely for the first-round series, even if you make it. So I don't have a lot of great stuff to say. I'm bummed about the whole thing, and I don't even know what's next. Everybody's blaming Willie Green, and I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you at all if you're blaming Willie Green. This team continues to not have a point guard. They continue to not have a clue late in games, and the fact that they haven't figured out how to get over the hump tells you there's got to be something different. Maybe you can blame it on Jonas, and everyone's surprised they didn't move Jonas at the trade deadline. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm going to build an NBA roster, but what I can tell you is that the fact that we've seen no progression with this franchise over the last 2 full seasons is devastating. Yeah, I mean, you were a game away from winning 50 for the second time in franchise history, and where has it gotten you? You're fighting for your life on Friday at home against Sacramento because you can't beat the friggin' San Antonio Spurs on your home floor. You gag away games against Houston. Like, you can't beat Orlando with everything on the line. Like, that's the problem with this franchise. When you actually have to rise up and make a play, make a shot, win a game, you can't do it. Unfortunately, Sunday, you saw what that looks like when LeBron came in here and went off for a triple-double. And I get it. He's one of the greatest of all time. But that's what it looks like, even from a 39-year-old man, and you got none of that in this organization right now, and it sucks. We're brought to you by Bud Light. I need like 10 Bud Lights right now. Can I drink 1,000 of them before the end of the show so I can ease some of this pain? By the way, I got a back and a hamstring injury. Not a hamstring, inner thigh injury as well. Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light. How was that for an open today? Everybody fired up now? We ready to go? Ready to have some fun talking sports for the next 3 hours? Email us, tweet us, text us. But remember, our friends over at Bud Light, Mockler Beverage, they do a great job. Official beer of the LSU Tigers, official beer of the Saints, and the official beer of everybody who's dejected right now and just wants to get drunk because you want to forget about this team gagging away everything they've had. It's AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
He's here. Anyone want a Coors Light?
Oh shoot, I forgot to play the song. I got a guy who can fix this.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Transfer portal opened up on Tuesday, and there's already been a flurry of action around LSU. We learned last week that Jackson Howard, the defensive end from Minnesota, was going to enter the portal, so he was the first. And today there's been a flurry with an additional 3 LSU Tigers. As of right, it's 3:17 Central Time on Wednesday. So as of right now, 3 more players have entered the portal. We'll run through them all just very quickly, and then I'll give you some thoughts. First was wide receiver Kai Preen. This was reported first by Pete Nakos over at On3. Whenever Kai Preen, who was a 4-star receiver in the class of 2023 when he committed to LSU, Florida State, Mississippi State, Auburn were other finalists for Kai Preen. So Jackson Howard was the first. Kai Preen was the second. Connor Gilbreth, if you remember Connor Gilbreth's story, he was a JUCO tight end who came to LSU with the idea of getting bigger and becoming an offensive lineman. Well, Connor Gilbreth tweeted, this is from Connor Gilbreth's Twitter just a bit ago, I'm officially in the transfer portal, 3 for 2, meaning 3 years to play 2, so he still has a redshirt year available, open to all opportunities. So Connor Gilbreth, the next into the transfer portal. He's an interesting one because, again, as you remember, the LSU brought him in as a tight end with the idea of being a blocking tight end that they would bulk up and convert potentially to an offensive tackle. So Gilbreth becomes the 3rd player in the portal. And then Ryan Robinson Jr., the defensive back, he tweeted as well, I'm officially in the transfer portal, God's plan with a prayer hand emoji. So, again, if you're scoring at home, Jackson Howard, Kai Preen, Connor Gilbreth, Ryan Robinson, those 4 Tigers in the portal. And by my very unofficial math, that should put LSU within the number of compliance to 85 scholarship players. Last week when Jackson Howard hit the portal, we told you that the number, based on my math and a couple of conversations with folks at LSU, had LSU at 88. At 88 players for that. That's including the incoming freshman and Gio Paez, who had already committed. That put him at 88. So they were going to need to lose at least 3 more. Well, Kai Preen, Connor Gilbreth, and Ryan Robinson, there's your 3, which should put you at 85. Now, the flip side of that, of course, is that LSU still plans to add players via the portal, most likely at defensive tackle. So you're probably not done. You're probably going to see even more attrition here for this team. The most notable here, I think, is Preen. Connor Gilbreth, look, LSU's really good at tight end. And again, Gilbreth was sort of the blocking tight end that we're trying to bulk up and turn him into a tackle. But just look at the emergence of Mac Markway, who is your prototypical tight end. You got, of course, Mason Taylor going into his junior year now that everybody's excited about.
Mason Taylor!
Kamorian Pimpton is going to be a good red zone threat. You're going to be good at tight end. And then Ryan Robinson, in a year like last year where LSU was as bad as they were in the secondary, to not break through kind of illustrates where you stand in the pecking order. Probably a good opportunity to go find another place to play. But with Preen, what was interesting about Kai Preen is in the portal, he had the do not contact designation. And that probably, when you have a do not contact designation, that very likely means where you're going already. So it's probably one of those things where Preen already knows what his landing spot is going to be. But when I look at receiver, LSU is just so loaded at this position. And I don't, this isn't me pandering and telling you what you want to hear. It's just the reality of it, but it also illustrates the direction roster management's going. Let me spell this out for you. So Jaylen Brown, remember LSU signed this great receiver haul a year ago with Shelton Sampson and Jaylen Brown and Kyle Parker and Kai Preen. So you signed this great receiver haul. Well, after last year, Jaylen Brown leaves. Right after the bowl game, Jaylen Brown hits the portal. And now Kai Preen has hit the portal. Jaylen Brown was number 79 nationally. That's not the 79th best receiver. Jaylen Brown was the 79th overall player in the country. And Kai Preen was number 408. So these are, but he was a 4-star. So good players, right? And look, Kai Preen, by the way, Saturday in the spring game, he kind of polished it off, if you missed it, with the touchdown from Colin Hurley. If you were watching the spring game, Hurley put up the deep ball on the left sideline it was a 64-yard touchdown, a catch and run for Kai Preen that kind of punctuated the spring game. So this is a guy who's a Louisiana kid who can flat out fly and is a really good prospect. But look at what you have at receiver. Kyron Lacey, Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, those are returners. You do have Landon Ibieta still there as well as a scholarship receiver, although he hasn't really made an impact. You bring in C.J. Daniels and Xavion Thomas out of the portal, and you've still got Kyle Parker, Shelton Sampson, and then the freshmen coming in, Billiot, Watkins, and Turner. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 11. Even with Kai Preen gone, that's 11 scholarship receivers. We're talking about a 5-star like Shelton Sampson, who at best right now is probably your 6th receiver. They're loaded. But what I think this shows is the shift in how teams are going to manage their rosters. And what I mean is LSU at the end of last season, when Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. elect to go to the draft, and of course you get Kyron Lacey back, you had a couple of options. You could have said, you know what, we're really excited about Jaylen Brown and Kyle Parker and Kai Preen and Shelton Sampson. We're really excited about those guys. We know we got Lacey and Hilton and Anderson. Let's let those young guys battle it out to see who's going to win that job, who's going to develop and become the dude. You could go that route, or you go hit the portal. And you go get C.J. Daniels, who last year had 55 catches for 1,067 yards. And you had Zavion Thomas, a Louisiana kid who was in the conference at Mississippi State, who had 40 catches for 503. The two receivers that have transferred out, Kai Preen and Jaylen Brown, do you know how many combined career catches they have? Jaylen Brown, Kai Preen, combined career catches? 0. None. Bagel, goose egg. They haven't played. So you're Brian Kelly, you're Frank Wilson, you're Jordan Arcemont, Austin Thomas. You're looking at your roster. Do you want to hope and prayer, on a hope and a prayer, watch the young guys grow up and get better and develop? Or do you say, hey, we have this great tool available to us to where we can go get a guy who had 55 catches for 1,067 yards, who's played 3 years of college football? Do we bring that guy in here as our number 4? Yeah, you do. And it's just, you may not like it. Like, you may not like the transfer portal and how that's all happening, but think of it working in your favor the way it didn't a year ago. Last year, LSU wanted to add Keon Coleman and Braden Fisk and Fentrell Cypress, and they got outbid by Florida State on all 3 players. I walked you through these numbers. Last year, LSU wanted all 3 of those guys. Offered them each about $100K. Florida State offered them each about $250. So LSU's total offer for all 3 of them barely was above what Florida State paid one of them. That's why they went there. LSU ain't going to have that problem this year, y'all. I went through a lot of the numbers with you yesterday. LSU's, and again, Gordon told us some of this on the record, some of it's conversations I've had, but LSU's roster last year cost about $4 million. By comp, Texas last year was about $9 million. They're looking to push to 10. LSU wanted to get from 4 to about 7 this year. I'm telling you, they've raised more than that, and they had $1.5 million that they had committed in the $500,000 each for Brian Thomas, for Mason Smith, and Mekhi Wingo, all who went pro. So LSU's got money. They've got money to spend in this portal cycle, and they ain't going to be outbid for players they want at positions of need because it bit you last year. I mean, think if you had Keon Coleman. Take Keon Coleman and Braden Fisk a year ago off of Florida State, put them on LSU. How different is that football game down in Orlando in the opener, right? That ain't going to happen this year. So, yeah, you got to win now. If you have the opportunity, and I know Brian Kelly says he wants to build through the high school ranks and supplement with the portal. It's a great way to do it. But there's going to be opportunities where you have to decide, do I trust my redshirt freshman or do I go get a 4-year guy who was a 1,000-yard receiver a year ago? It's an easy answer. Yeah, it's a 1-year stopgap. It's a 1-year mercenary, but it's going to make you better in this 1 year. In a year where you're replacing 2 first-round picks at receiver. You take so much of the guessing game, the ambiguity, the unknown and uncertainty out of it and go with more of a sure thing. So, again, LSU starting to come into focus a bit. So, Kai Preen, Connor Gilbreth, Ryan Robinson, the 3 players after Jackson Howard down to the portal. So 4 Tigers now in the portal. By my count, LSU is within roster compliance. But if you want to go add players in the portal, and they're going to be LSU is going to be buyers in this portal cycle, you're probably going to have to lose a few more. So we'll see how that goes as we move throughout this portal window. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you want to buy land, go to the place that's helped Louisianians buy land for more than 100 years. That's what they do at First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. They're just the best. You can talk to a local Louisianian, someone who lives, works in Louisiana, from Louisiana. Their kids go to school in Louisiana, and they can help you buy land in this state or elsewhere. You want to buy hunting property in Mississippi? You want to buy farmland in Iowa? You want to buy a big, beautiful piece of property to go build a log cabin or a dream home up in Montana? They can help you do it because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Okay, y'all. It is After Further Review. We'll go around the SEC. Taylor Calandro in about 15 minutes for Bourbon Dictionary. Get your questions. And by the way, if you're texting me, I mentioned this yesterday, but I don't want people to think I'm ignoring you. I can see your texts, but they're going through a software upgrade right now, and so I can't reply on the app. So if you're texting me in the 225, it's 396-4400, 396-4400. I can see your messages like Gerard Bowen just texted me about the Pels. I'll read it to you. He said, it would be the most New Orleans thing to do to lose to a team we went 5-0 and dominated during the regular season, but then lose them in a one game that really matters, just like the Saints did in Drew's final season when they swept Tampa Bay during the season, but lost them the game that mattered in the playoffs. I can see your text. I just can't reply to them with my fingers right now, but I can't read them on the air. Okay, it's after further review. Quick break. Thanks for being here. We'll go around the SEC next.
AFR.
Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics, our friends over at Action Industries since 1982, man. 42 years. Love telling you about our friends over at Action Industries and the many different ways that they service all of the petrochemical and refinery markets in Louisiana. But something else I want to make sure I remind you is Action Industries, they have fabrication shop services for pipe, structural steel, and pressure vessels, but they also offer exchanger tube cleaning. So don't send them to Texas to be dipped in a vat when they have a better process here at home. Action Industries offers vapor abrasive blasting technology, which cleans tubes at pressures less than 100 psi. Less than 100 psi. It works, and it is much safer than the alternative. It's Action Industries. It's proven effective by both Iris and Eddie Eddie Current Test, and Action Industries offers it. It's Action Industries.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. The Dreams Come True Radiothon is presented today by Mr. Electric, Goodwood Men's Clinic, and Shawbills. Donate today at 1045ESPN.com.
Power Hour?
Tomorrow.
Ooh.
Thursday.
You going to be all right reading that Power Hour promo tomorrow, Muse?
Yes. I have it right here.
Last week got you.
Yeah, I have it right here, and it's the correct one for the station.
Yeah. Crazy, though, how I was still able to read it just fine.
Well, you knew something was wrong with it, and, you just... You knew in that moment, okay, I got to look out for the mistake.
So when you were reading it, you didn't realize something was wrong with it?
No, I just immediately started reading, and
so
that
you realized
point,
something was wrong with it, and then you take your time and you get through it.
Yeah, I tried, and I just kept fumbling over
Paul,
it.
we should go get that video of Muso trying to read the promo from last week.
I don't think so.
Let's do that, Paul.
Nope.
All right, Paulie, let's snag that. Let's put it up on all our socials.
Whoa.
And
Okay.
let's let the people decide.
Harsh.
That's not harsh.
That is harsh.
I like it. You know it's harsh.
Of course you do.
You know it's harsh. Banning Jontay Porter for life.
Is it?
What an idiot. Oh, my God. Y'all heard about this? So Jontay Porter, who played at Mizzou, was betting on basketball and giving info to bookies and all kind of stuff. So the NBA did an investigation, and they have banned Jontay Porter for life. Our buddy Joe Fortenbaugh on Carlin and Joe on ESPN Radio had this to say about it.
Here's how everyone catches on as to what's happening. There's always an exorbitant amount of money being wagered on these things, which normally wouldn't see that much money. No one cares about betting unders on Jontay Porter's made three-pointers. You might have a handful of bets, if any, for the course of 20, 30, 40 games. And then all of a sudden one night, dozens, if not hundreds of bets show up, massive limits trying to play this. And then the guy checks into the game and then, he's feeling hurt or dizzy or sick, and then he checks out. That's suspicious. And then it happens again a month later. Same thing. That's going to get you nailed. And that gets nailed because the betting companies, the regulators, see the irregular betting pattern. So good on the companies for speaking up on this. Sorry to hear it about Porter, but you can't make that mistake. It's very well known in professional sports in this country. If you're going to gamble, you're going to get in deep water.
It's so dumb for Jontay Porter. I mean, I'm not saying that it's okay for anybody at any level, just ethically, but when you look at NBA contracts, look at what you're risking. I mean, you have to measure the risk versus the reward. What's Jontay Porter's rookie deal?
Yeah, so he was on a two-way contract, and this season his salary was $410,000.
$410K. I know, listen, $410K doesn't set you up for life. Okay, I understand that. But the overwhelming majority of the people listening to me right now will never make $410,000 in a year, ever. That's like $400K is like the bottom. Everyone is fascinated in this country, I got to make $1 million. $400K, last time I checked, is like the bottom of the top 1%. If you take the top 1% of earners in our country, the bottom of that top 1% makes about $400K. You are in rarefied air, even on a two-way contract, making $400,000 with the opportunity, obviously, to make more. Make a roster catch on. I mean, we've seen that with guys before. But man, he's now banned for life. You've lost that revenue opportunity. How old is Jontay Porter now? Do you see it right there? You've lost that opportunity now for the rest of your life. You've been banned for life by the NBA. I guess potentially, maybe there's an international league that may take him. I don't know. I don't know if there's FIBA rules that would prohibit that. I really don't know. But the massive earning potential in the NBA is now gone for Jontay Porter forever.
He's 24.
24 years old. I guess part of it resonates because when you're 24, you're stupid. Even if you're a professional athlete, you're still dumb. You're a dumb kid at 24. Respect all the 24-year-olds out there, but what I mean by that is you can't know what you don't know until you know it. Does that make sense?
Yes, I got you.
it's just, there's a certain thing that goes with life experience. Look, when I started AFR, when I got AFR, I was 27. All right. I didn't own a home. I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. Right. My life now at 41 is dramatically different. I mean, I had hair then too. Not a ton, but I had hair.
But you had some.
You know, like I'm married. I have a special needs child. We've owned 2 homes. It's things that you just learn in life. And when you're 24, you're an idiot. And Jontay Porter's an idiot. You just cost yourself an opportunity of a lifetime potentially of earning potential in a small window while you're physically able to bet 3-point under. What was it? Bet Jontay Porter 3-point percentage under. I was like, what are you talking about? What do you think you made on that, Jontay? I feel for him, man. I do. It's his fault. I mean, you got to look. You have to. You're going to suffer the consequences of an awful decision. But a young guy, and I feel for him. Well, Paulie's coughing over there. Paulie, would you like some water? I have some wonderful Evermore water right here. This is actually one I've been drinking out of, so I'm not going to give you this.
Yeah, I don't want that one.
Well, actually, you're the one who sounds sick, so you may actually need this. And this is a prop that I'd rather you not drink because this is the one that stays unopened here on the set. But might I recommend Evermore? It's natural artesian water. Y'all, don't go get water if you're going to the store. Let me actually challenge you to do this. You've heard me talk about Evermore. This is a Louisiana product, okay? A natural artesian well in Covington. So it ain't like Louisiana water. No. This is a natural artesian well. They dig deep, deep, deep into the ground. It's just untouched by mankind until it's piped out and put into this bottle with nothing else. If you want to comp, I hate to say it this way, like another natural artesian water is Fiji. Why would you support another country? Support Louisiana. Get Evermore. So I want you to just try it. Next time you're at the gas station or next time you're at Rouse's or grocery store and you see Evermore, grab a bottle of Evermore, try it, tell me what you think. EVAMOR. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. You can buy it online. You can buy it at great local retailers everywhere. It's a rare alkaline source with a pH from 8.8 to 9.1. It's perfect. This is a nationally branded product. Dak Prescott is their national endorser. Support a great local company, an awesome product. Next time you go reach for a bottle of water in the cooler, grab Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. Take a sip, Paulie. See, Paulie? You'd be drinking Evermore. You probably would be sick right now. You'd be better hydrated, I'll tell you that much. All right, do it every day about this time. Let's do it quick. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference.
Texas A&M! Offensive tackle Derek Graham has entered the transfer portal. This is wild. He was at Troy from 2020 to 2023. You know when the 2023 season was? This past season. So he just went through spring at A&M, and after one spring in College Station, he's like, deuces, I'm out. 6'4", 315. He's the 4th A&M player to enter the portal.
The Auburn Tigers.
Defensive lineman Brenton Williams has hit the portal. Redshirted this fall for Auburn. Played in just 2 games. Didn't record a stat. First Auburn player to enter the portal here in the spring window. Plays buck linebacker. He's like an edge rusher position. He was a 3-star recruit a year ago.
The Florida Gators.
Air Force tight end transfer Caleb Rios has committed to Florida as a walk-on. He was a scholarship player at Air Force. He'll be a preferred walk-on at Florida with a chance to earn a scholarship next season. Accounted for just 11 catches during his time there at the Air Force Academy, but he'll have 18 months, so he'll have 2 seasons to play there with the Gators.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Defensive back Zabari Sandy went down with an injury Saturday during the second scrimmage of spring in Columbia. On Wednesday, Shane Beamer said Sandy has suffered a torn ACL, could be out for the entire season.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And forward Nick Pringle is hitting the transfer portal, the 4th Alabama basketball player to enter the transfer portal here in the cycle. Started his career at Wofford, then went to Dodge City Community College before landing at Alabama. 6'10", 230. He was twice suspended for conduct detrimental, also suffered an injury, but averaged 6 points, 5 boards a game for the Tide. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by our friends over at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're just the best. If you are thinking of popping the question, gents, mentioned just a bit ago how And when I got AFR at 27, I wasn't married. Well, I remember vividly buying the ring. I remember proposing. I remember going through the whole experience. Gentlemen, if you want to have that amazing experience, buying that diamond that she is going to look at forever as a reminder of your love for her, something that she's going to be thrilled to wear and one day hand down to your daughter, to your granddaughter, let Lee Michaels help. If they don't have what you're looking for, they can find it. And if they can't find it, they can make it. They'll make custom pieces of jewelry over at Lee Michaels. Every diamond is hand inspected by a family member before it goes into the case. Never a man-made or lab diamond. They're always from the finest diamond mines in the world. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. When we come back, Taylor Calandro will be here. Looking forward to having Taylor here. If you got questions, get your booze questions in right now. You can email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways that you can get involved in the show. Your questions for Taylor when we come back. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out, presented by Darren James, brokered by LPT Realty.
I got this text from Darren, who he screen grabbed a text from a listener, Rusty Clark, who texted Darren James, "Hey, Darren, hope all is well. I wanted to thank you for changing my life. You helped so much. Thank you, and stay safe." AFR listener Rusty Clark, his message to Darren James, who helped him sell his home. And I'm telling you, if you are thinking about selling your home, the time is now. We've seen interest rates tick down a smidge. You've seen more buyers come into the market, people realizing, hey, we're not going to see rates in the threes, so let me buy now and I can refi later when rates drop. The point is, you're going to start to see more and more and more inventory come to the market. Beat the rush while it's still a seller's market. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150s, $10,000 off the new F-150 truck, plus 1.9% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers Trivia tonight. Taylor Swift Trivia tonight, as a matter of fact. All right, let's talk to our guy, Taylor Calandro. Get your booze questions in. How are you, dude?
The more famous Taylor, me.
No. Are you a Swiftie?
I enjoy her music.
Yeah, me too.
I can't say I'm a Swiftie, but I enjoy some of her music, yeah.
I'm in that category. My wife, however, is a gigantic Swiftie.
Mine is not a gigantic one, but she's borderline. She's not there.
So tonight is Taylor Swift trivia for Trivia Night over at Pluckers, for those that missed it. And I was going to send Erica over there to just go, dominate and win a whole bunch of Pluckers gift cards. But she's got, a fair meeting at school, fair committee.
How lame.
I know. And so I'm like, and I don't think people really understand this. I don't eat for free when I go over there. I pay. So if I get gift cards, awesome. I don't have to pay.
Yeah, that's great.
I know.
I'd have to say, I'd probably guess that the Taylor Swift trivia probably gets deep and very weird.
I just have the 3 sample questions that we're going to give out later on the show. I don't know about the rest of the rounds or anything like that.
Yeah.
Hey, what's new? What's new over there?
Something a little sports related. I don't know if you know, but the PGA Championship is in about a month, and it's being played at Valhalla, right outside of Louisville, or in Louisville. And Elijah Craig is the official bourbon of the PGA Tour, and they made a special commemorative 2024 PGA Championship bottle with a really pretty gold inlay on top. I don't know if Moose can pull up a picture of Paul, but it's 94 proof Elijah Craig. It's small batch Elijah Craig. The catch is, though, I thought this was hilarious, but they aged where they pulled the barrels from were from warehouses P, G, and A.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. I've seen in the past. If you're watching, there's a picture of the bluegrass, so you could see the label as well. I've seen in the past, Taylor, some of the commemorative bottles they've done that come in a blue box. Is this one of those as well, in the collective box?
So this one doesn't come in a box. You're thinking of the Ryder Cup. That was
it. Yep.
They finished it in that Italian wine cask, and because it was played in Rome. But this one didn't come in a box. But I don't think that one from the Ryder Cup had an inlay on top like this one does.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. There's the label.
It's got a nice little gold medallion in the middle for Valhalla PGA.
Yeah.
It's
their 94 proof, just their standard offering. It just looks like it's just a commemorative deal with the label and all. So it's collectible, I guess, if people who want to collect
and
it.
Aged in the PGA warehouses.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, very cool. Anything else new?
We got some McKenna 10 back, and we got some Elijah Toasted Barrel, too, which has been very hard to get. So there's some Elijah Toasted on the shelf for a meow.
Okay, he dropped a meow. We can get your questions now. So go ahead and email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Brett says, ask Taylor, heading to Jim Beam in Heaven Hill in 2 weeks. Which bottle should I try to buy at each distillery?
Beam generally has a few distillery-only offerings. I can't tell you exactly which ones. Every time I've been to Jim Beam probably 10 times. There's always different stuff there that you won't find anywhere else. It's more nerdy stuff, not necessarily super rare allocated stuff. The kind of stuff I'm into. They do a lot of experimental stuff that doesn't get released. Heaven Hill, on a daily basis, we'll put random stuff out, and they have it behind the counter generally. So, and that's also a crapshoot. Those distilleries do their own thing pretty much on a daily basis. So there's not really a cadence to it.
If someone's hoping to get lucky, like what would they look for at Heaven Hill? Like what are the offerings that you think might pop up among, I guess among their allocated stuff, right?
Yeah. So they've got some distillery-only things, like the William Heaven Hill series. They do release there. I've gotten a bottle of. There's different ages of that. Sometimes they put Parkers out. That's very rare. It's usually around Parkers Day. And like the Heaven Hill rare releases that they've done in the boxes the past few years, they've put those out every now and then too. Basically anything you can think of that you can't. Old Fitzgerald too. I know they'll put that out sometimes too.
I mean, you mentioned you had some McKenna 10. I mean, obviously that's a Heaven Hill offering as well. Yeah. Man, that would be phenomenal. If you get an Old Fitz or a Parkers, I mean, all the Elijah Craigs are obviously great too, but if you get an Old Fitz or a Parkers, that's what I would be looking for. Definitely
There's a plethora of special releases from Heaven Hill that are totally worth buying if they're available. Yeah. I wouldn't pass up much of anything from them.
No, that's fair. Okay, let's see. Clayton, hey, Taylor, got any of that Blackberry Crown?
No, man. Still, you're laughing.
He was hilarious. Joking, but I think you're not.
And we haven't talked about it in a couple weeks, but we got it a few weeks ago and sold through it, and it has been gone. And there's no ETA.
We got like 30 seconds. Joshua said, "I'm going to Buffalo Trace Distillery Friday. What would happen if I asked where the special fallen off the truck Pappy was?"
You would be the first person to ask that at Buffalo Trace. I can almost guarantee you would probably be the first person to ask that same question.
Taylor,
and they'd probably laugh at you.
Taylor Calandro. Thanks, dude.
Bye-bye.
Hour 2 coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. Oh, yeah. They do indoor shutters as well. Y'all, it is time to call Relief Windows if you want some relief. The heat is almost here. As a matter of fact, today the high is 80 degrees. You know our triple-digit temps are around the corner. And what happens when we have those increased temperatures, of course, is we have increased energy bills. It makes sense, right? It gets really hot outside. Your AC works harder to make sure that your home stays cool. Your energy bills go up in the summer. We all see it. Unless if you have energy-efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. They're custom-made, measure twice, install once, and they're energy-efficient. It's really cool. One of the illustrations they'll do is they'll take a regular glass window in their energy-efficient window, and they'll put a lamp, like a light bulb, on top of it, and thermometers underneath, so you can see the temperature difference with their energy-efficient windows. It'll keep your home cool. It'll lower your energy bills. It's an investment. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Raptors two-way player Jontay Porter has been banned from the NBA for gambling violations. ESPN NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski.
The league's investigation found everything from limiting his own participation in games, sharing confidential information with known bettors, and betting on as many as 13 NBA games himself, including betting the Toronto Raptors to lose.
The NBA said the investigation remains open and it is sharing information with federal authorities. Pelicans power forward Zion Williamson will miss Friday's play-in game versus Sacramento due to a hamstring injury. 76ers star Joel Embiid expected to play in the East 7-8 play-in matchup against the Heat tonight. He tweaked his surgically repaired left knee last week. After Sixers Heat, Hawks and Bulls in the East 9-10 game on ESPN, also available at 9 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Clippers coach Ty Lue says he's preparing as if they will have star Kawhi Leonard for Game 1 of the Mavericks series. Kawhi missed the last 8 regular season games with knee inflammation.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. That's Barbasol Shaving Cream, an American classic for over 100 years. Close Shave America, Close Shave Barbasol.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. Matt?
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Bottom of this hour, we'll head to Auburn, our spring recap, looking at Gus Malzahn's team. Excuse me, not Gus Malzahn. That's the former Auburn coach. We're talking about Hugh Freeze, who is now the Auburn coach in his second season at Auburn. We'll do that coming up at the bottom of this hour. Also, 1 hour from right now, if you're just joining us, let me sort of reset. If you're just joining us, 3 more LSU football players hit the portal. Jackson Howard last week, but we've also since learned that Kai Preen, the wide receiver, Connor Gilbreth, the tight end, and cornerback Ryan Robinson have all hit the portal. So by my math, LSU's now at 85 for the fall. But if they plan to add more players, which Brian Kelly has told us they're doing intentionally at defensive tackle, more would have to go in the portal. So we're expecting to see more both ways. But what I want to do 1 hour from right now, so you have to leave, come back. 1 hour from right now, we want to look at the portal targets. because some more names are starting to come to light of who the targets are that LSU is looking at in the portal. I want to talk about how those might manifest. So we'll get to that 1 hour from right now. LSU baseball last night. Let me take a second here and talk a little bit about the LSU baseball Tigers, who got a win against UNO. Candidly, I was out at the box last night. It was in the guarantee suite. That's not a brag. It's just to say that when you're in a suite, there's a TV. So candidly, I spent more time watching the Pelicans and the Lakers last night while keeping an eye on the baseball game secondarily. But it was nice to see LSU get out there and have a couple of things go well. Namely, you hit 3 homers in the game. Brady Neal homered, Hayden Travinski homered, Jared Jones homered, but they were all solo homers. It would be really nice if you could start to get some guys on base when you hit these homers. Such is just the nature of the way the season has gone. And incidentally, we talked about Mitchell Sanford yesterday here on AFR, the former LSU Tiger, who's batting .400. Hit a 2-run homer off of Thatcher Hurd in the first inning yesterday. So not a great start there. But overall for LSU, you win the game 6-3. You did bang out 7 hits. 3 of them were homers. Stephen Milam had a triple in the ball game as well. And maybe most importantly, one of the things we've talked about is the opportunity or the ability to score runs when you've got a runner at third with less than 2 outs. And that happened in the first inning when Paxton Kling got to third base with 1 out, and Tommy White was up, 2-strike count, and White just sort of flipped his bat at a ball and just poked one into right field. Not overswinging, not trying to crush it or elevate it, just putting the ball to the right side to get that run home. Later in the game, Tommy White did the exact same thing after Milam's triple, which gave LSU the lead. He grounded out to the right side, but it got the run home. That's a team-oriented approach offensively, and quite honestly, that's what this team has lacked, in my opinion. You've lacked those that clutch hitting and that situational awareness to realize I got a runner on third with less than 2 outs. I just got to get the ball on the ground to the right side or to the outfield to get that run home. And Tommy White did it twice last night. It's no wonder that he's your best offensive player, but hopefully more can follow suit. On the bump last night, Thatcher Hurd started for LSU and gave you 2 innings. And it wasn't great. I mentioned he gave up the 2-run homer in the first. He struck out 1, walked 2. Hurd continues to struggle, and that's disappointing because, it's a guy that, I'll say it again, it's just a guy who in the postseason last year looked like he was elevating and maybe figuring it out and was on the bump for you to win the national championship last year. It was great. And started the season as your Friday night guy. And MLB had him as a top 50 prospect in the country coming into this season. And it just hasn't worked for Thatcher Hurd in any role. And they've tried weekend starter. They've tried bullpen of the week. They tried getting him on the bump there in the midweek. They gave you 2 innings and was shaky, at best. So it wasn't great for Hurd. But everyone that followed, it was nice to see guys have have some success. Dutton gave you 2 innings. Javen Coleman walked a couple guys, only gave you a third of an inning, but Christian Little got the win, struck out 2 in an inning, a third. Justin Lohr pitched well in his inning and a third. Will Helmers gave you an inning. Fidel Ulloa got the save, pitched the 9th inning, did strike out a guy, was 3 up, 3 down in the 9th. So you had a lot of guys who maybe, Jay Johnson said after the game, who had struggled, and he was trying to get them out there to have some success, and that largely happened in the game. So now LSU hits the road for a 3-game series in Columbia against Missouri. And y'all know we've done the math, and I don't need to bore you with it again, but you're in this point now where at 3-12, if you want to start thinking postseason, like there is no more wait and see. The opportunity will come. The opportunity's here. You're playing Missouri, and Missouri's a 5-win team in the league right now, which is better than you, and they swept Florida on their home field, meaning in Como. And you're on the road in the league, and that's never easy. And you've got issues pitching, and you've struggled to hit in the clutch. But this is a winnable series. This is an inherently winnable series where you are a better team than the team you're playing. Incidentally, Carrick Jackson, if you remember, who was the head baseball coach at Southern before he left to work in the minor leagues, or actually I think for Major League Baseball, Carrick Jackson is now back in the collegiate game, and he's the head coach at Missouri. So familiar face for people around here to see Carrick Jackson this weekend. But if you're LSU, you have to win this series. I mean, you have to win every series the rest of the way. And if you do that, if you go 10-5 in your final 5 weekends, that puts you at 13 league wins. Now, that's not great, but that certainly should get you into the SEC tournament and put you right there on the bubble of the NCAA tournament. So it starts this weekend. You got to go to Columbia, Missouri, and you got to get this win. And, you know, Jay Johnson was asked if he had gone through anything like this before, and he kind of related it to a season that he had during his time in Tucson with Arizona. Give a listen.
Almost made the NCAA tournament one year with a team that had a 6.36 ERA. That was not easy. And it was very similar where I think UCLA was number 1. We had to play them on the road. Arizona State was number 3. Had to play them on the road. Now the Pac-12 has changed a lot in the last 3 years. But we got through that. And we won 13 out of our last 14 games that year. And then staying with it. So kind of what I've just come to is like, what do these players need right now? It doesn't matter what Jay Johnson thinks we should do. Like, what do they need and how to help them? And that is my entire focus.
I was listening to the post-game interview last night with Jay, and it was interesting because it was very much a sort of like a fatherly, loving advice where the time for like yelling and criticizing and being critical of your team, like that time's past. They know what they're up against. Now it's how do you coach them right and get them in a position to perform when the situation arises. And that starts this weekend. I know one of the things that a lot of people have said is play the young guys, and I don't disagree with that. But I think largely you are seeing that. Clearly, Stephen Milam's been in the everyday lineup. Ashton Larson, it appears, has earned himself a spot in Jay's eyes in the everyday lineup. He's given Ethan Fry opportunities, but Fry has really struggled. I think I looked at it this weekend. He had struck out in 10 of his last 14 at-bats in conference play. Jake Brown got an opportunity this past weekend. So you are seeing that. But it feels more like the bigger change that you're seeing from Jay is on the mound. And you're starting to see him. We saw Sam Dutton pitch this past weekend. And Sam Dutton is a strike thrower. And Sam Dutton pitched last night. I don't think he walked anybody. 2 innings pitched, struck out 2, didn't walk anybody. I mean, he'll throw the ball over the plate. And sometimes, like with this staff, that's what you need. But another guy that clearly who got the ball a couple of times this past weekend in conference play is Aiden Moffitt. And Jay's a believer in him, and it looks like Aiden Moffitt's going to keep getting more and more opportunities.
Aiden, I told him at the beginning of the year, like, we needed more strikes, but I'm going to get you in there when I can. I think it's interesting, like, he may still walk a guy, but he can get them out. He doesn't have to be perfect because the fastball's so great. Then it became land the slider. Okay, you land the slider with the fastball that you have, with that you're starting to throw more strikes. Now you're going into SEC games. So he pitched twice this weekend. Pitched great on Friday night. Thought he pitched good on Sunday. Christian Moore, great player. In a small ballpark. But other than that, he was outstanding. And one of the key players, if not one of the most key players on our team for the rest of the season and moving forward.
Young guy to keep an eye on in the second half. It certainly sounds like, Jay's telling you, he's going to lean a lot more on Aiden Moffitt coming out of the bullpen, so we'll see. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for being here with us. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Blue Bonnet. Of course, every Wednesday is trivia, so get by either location. 7:30 Blue Bonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. Eat wings, drink beer, watch sports on TV. Of course, win Pluckers gift cards at trivia every Wednesday at Pluckers. All right, well, now I got a quick break. Come back in bottom of this hour. We'll head to the loveliest little village on the plains, get a spring recap looking at Auburn. When we come back, we've talked so much with the Saints about drafting offensive tackle and wide receiver. Where in this draft might they address defensive tackle? We'll talk about it next on AFR.
AFR.
Man, I had a great lunch today. My buddies over at River City's 1 Hour Air, Matt, Rick, Paul Ragusa, 2 awesome guys. Really enjoyed getting to know them over the years and all the amazing work that they do. I tell you all the time, of course, right now, preseason AC tune-up, it's time to call. They'll come out to your house, make sure that your AC is ready to roll so it's efficient before the coming warm weather. One other thing worth mentioning is, especially with it now being their busy season on the horizon, they can always add more technicians. So if you're thinking about a career change, it's worth a call to River City's 1 Hour Air. They've got the absolute best benefits in the business. Health benefits, retirement benefits, of course, 401k, everything. They take such great care of their employees, and they don't want you to have a job. They want to train you properly so you have a long career in the industry. It's worth giving them a shout. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
While you're busy with spring cleaning, we'd like to add to the clutter in your bank account. To the tune of $2,000, it's the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge Spring Cha-Ching. Powered by Citizens Bank and Trust. Register today at 1045ESPN.com.
Fancy sound effects and clever little puns there and whatnot.
How about that?
Spring cha-ching. Spring cha-ching. Look at that.
Go register. $2K. Who doesn't want it?
Seriously. It's easy. Shout out. So, as we inch closer to the draft, there's this commonly accepted and understood belief that the Saints are going to take an offensive tackle at number 14 overall, as well they should. You are quite possibly looking at the end of Ryan Ramchik's career. You don't have a left tackle. You whiffed on Trevor Penning. We all know the Saints need to be looking at offensive line. So every mock draft has the Saints taking a tackle at 14 and very likely a receiver at 45. It's just a matter of what receiver they take at 45 if it's there. And I don't disagree with that approach at all. And it's interesting, too, because a year ago when we looked at all the mock drafts, like every mock draft had the Saints taking Brian Brzee, right? 2 years ago, we saw Trevor Penning mocked to the Saints so often. It's like they've become really predictable now with Dennis Allen as opposed to when Sean Payton was here. So I ran across these odds earlier today. I think this is from sportsbetting.ag. So it was for every team, the odds of what they would do with their first-round pick. And offensive line, no surprise for the Saints, minus 250 was a big favorite. What surprised me, that was weird. What surprised me, well, hold on, Paul. I think we're going to get that screen back. I don't know what just happened there. What surprised me is that the second best odds for the Saints was actually defensive line / edge at plus 450. Receiver was actually the fourth highest odds because cornerback was next and then wide receiver. Quarterback, tight end, linebacker, safety, and running back. So, again, remember, that's just the odds of what they would do at 14. Overwhelmingly offensive line. And then defensive line edge makes sense because there have been, like, some mock drafts where an edge rusher has been mocked to the Saints, like if Dallas Turner's there or Latu from UCLA or Jared Verse. So that does make a little sense. But I'm surprised to see corner 3 and then receiver down at 4 because you do see some mock drafts that have the Saints taking Rome Odunze. I also saw one that had the Saints trading up for Malik Neighbor. So a little odd there. And I know sometimes when we've talked about these draft odds, I've felt some pushback from some of you who have said, like, why would you care what odds makers say about who's going to go where in the draft? Well, inherently, what you've seen is there's very little value in betting the NFL draft anymore because everybody kind of knows now what's going to happen to a degree. The sportsbooks know what's going to happen, or they have a great set because they've got great inside information. That's how they set those lines because they're not going to leave themselves vulnerable. They're there to make money. So, yeah, they kind of do have a sense of what's going to happen. That's why they set the odds the way they do. I'm not saying like it's just 100% a lock there, but it's why you're even seeing some sportsbooks not offer odds on NFL draft props anymore. So it was interesting, though, to see defensive line because if we do agree the Saints are going to take offensive tackle at 14, receiver at 45, the one thing that's certain is the Saints aren't sitting on the sideline until round 5. Like, they're as impatient an organization in the draft as there is. They're aggressive. So they're not just going to sit there through rounds 3 and 4 and wait till the draft comes to them in round 5. And they're not going to make 4 fifth-round picks. So they're going to package picks and they're going to move up. The question is, for what would they move up? And I think defensive tackle could make the most sense. So we looked at this a little bit earlier today and kind of like what prospects might be there for the New Orleans Saints. So let's take a look at this. Mel Kiper has 10 defensive tackles that would be day 2 options, so around 2 or 3. And of them, he's got Jerzon Newton out of Illinois, Ruke Arororo.
Nailed it.
Got it. Out of Clemson. We were watching YouTube videos in the break on the proper pronunciation of Ruke Arororo. Nailed it. Arororo? That would be awesome just to say.
Scooby-Doo drop. We're getting a Scooby-Doo drop.
Braden Fisk, Chris Jenkins from Michigan, Michael Hall, Mason Smith. So a lot of big names there. Muse, I'll throw it to you first here since we kind of we looked at this. Look, the Saints stink in run defense. They were awesome for half decade where they didn't allow remember it was Samaje Perine with Washington in 2015. 2014 or 2015 was the last to rush for 100 yards in a game. And the Saints went like 5 years without allowing a 100-yard rusher. And the last 2 years, they've been 22nd and 24th in the NFL in rush defense. They stink. So they draft Ryan Brzee, but remember, you've lost Sheldon Rankins, you've lost Onyemata, Malcolm Roach is gone. Is a free agent this offseason. He's left. So all you're left with is Brzee, Shepard, and Saunders, and that's really it. I mean, you got some practice squad guys as well hanging around Jack Heflin, but you're going to have to address that position and add bodies there. So first of all, like, would you want them to trade up day 2 for a defensive tackle?
I would, because I think given what you just said there with the amount of talent that Kiper lists as potential day 2 guys, there seems like great value at that spot on day 2.
I think it depends where on day 2. And always when you're talking about a trade, what you'd have to give up to get there.
That's fair.
But very likely what it would be is you trade, like if you're going into round 3, you would very likely trade next year's 3, because you don't have one this year, and then probably one of those 5th round picks, like a later round pick this year, which I'm okay with that. You just don't have a 3 next year. Now you're putting yourself in the same situation. But if it's someone you think helps you now, and there's good value there, no one ever remembers what you gave up when you hit on the pick. You know what I mean? Like, everyone is going to talk about what Denver gave up for Russell Wilson because he stunk in Denver. Nobody talks about the Kings' ransom Atlanta paid to move up to draft Julio Jones because he had a Hall of Fame career there. You know what I mean? So it's negligible if it works. All right, start us off. Who are the guys you looked at?
Well, let's start with our guy, Ororo.
No, that was too many.
That was
too many.
It's 3. It's 3.
Ororo.
From Clemson.
Row your boat.
He makes a lot of sense for a couple reasons. Obviously, look, Clemson, through their run, defensive line has been a big reason for that. I mean, just look at the guys they've put in the league, including Brian Brzee. He was teammates with Brian Brzee.
Ooh, so that would be a good little tandem there.
You have that little synergy potentially there. He's obviously got good size, and the one thing he really has is a high relative athletic score, which we know the Saints love.
They love a
in
good
fact,
RAS.
Matt, it's the highest among defensive tackles.
You shut your face.
In the NFL draft this year.
Welcome to New Orleans, Ruke.
Run stuffer. You're looking at
by the jersey.
25 tackles for loss throughout his career, and he also had 5 sacks last year, so potential for the pass rush.
Okay.
I think he's a complete player you could find there at defensive tackle.
How about Chris Jenkins at Michigan?
Yeah.
PFF has him in the 99th percentile in run stop rate. Right at 300 pounds. 8 TFLs at Michigan, so you're talking about a guy that can push the pocket. I just think about that Michigan defensive front and how they dominated this season. I mean, Michigan, all they had to do was run the ball. Like, this Michigan team, I drew this comparison at the end of the regular season. They were 2011 LSU. If 2011 LSU had gotten the rematch against Oklahoma, or gotten the game against Oklahoma State instead of the rematch to Alabama, that's what Michigan was. A team that couldn't throw it, didn't need to throw it, was a dominant running team, and their defense was overwhelming. It showed you can win at this level in 2023 or now 2024 with a great running game and a dominant defense. And Jenkins was a huge part of that. I mean, now look, the Saints love to draft Ohio State players. I don't know if they draft a Michigan guy, but he would be one that you could certainly look at. All right, who you got?
Well, you mentioned Ohio State players. Michael Hall Jr.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Is another.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna scratch Chris Jenkins off my list.
Is another really interesting prospect for them. Weight's kind of fluctuated a little bit with him throughout the combine and his pro day, but comes in right around 295, 300 pounds. Maybe a little inexperienced, Matt. Only 28 games played in 3 years in Columbus, but was productive. 10 tackles for a loss over the course of those 3 years, 6 sacks. So a guy that can definitely move the pocket, and another high relative athletic score as well at 9.57 for this guy. And he went to Ohio State. He's checking 2 boxes.
That's huge. If you've got the relative athletic score and went to Ohio State, you're basically in. The last guy that I would talk about is Braden Fisk, and just candidly, this would be my pick. And maybe it's just the familiarity because LSU went hard after him last year in the offseason. I mean, everybody did. And then we got to see him at Florida State, and he had a dominant season. He is the quintessential example of a guy that, when he was 18, wasn't a great player, wasn't a highly rated guy, grew up as he went through 4 years of college. Because of the portal, had the opportunity to go to Florida State, and he dominated there on a great defense and a great team. There might be some concerns coming out of the combine about his size, 6'3", 292. But, again, the relative athletic score at 9.89, and he was a dominant interior pass rusher. If Braden Fisk is, this is a guy who, when we looked at mock drafts early in this process, you saw floating around the end of round 1. And now he's bumped basically into a day 2 guy since the combine. And maybe it's because of all of that, the size, that whatever. Did you do a good 3-cone drill? I don't know. I don't care. Maybe it's a small sample of just having been the 1 year in Power 5 football. But Braden Fisk is a guy, to me, that is proven. He can stop the run. He can rush the passer from the interior. He's reliable. He's durable. He's won at all levels. If Braden Fisk is hovering around late round 2, early round 3. And I don't know if he will be, but if the Saints moved up to take Braden Fisk, I'd be pumped with that. Like if you go dominant offensive tackle at 14, best receiver available at 45, then you trade up to take Braden Fisk, I would come out of this draft feeling like you checked all your boxes except maybe at safety. Did you have any more?
No, that was it.
Okay. What do you think they do?
I think they.
You can kill the music.
Okay.
You can kill the music.
I think if they're going to trade up, and they will, I think that is a position that makes a lot of sense. And I think it is either Braden Fisk or a row from Clemson.
I just don't know if Braden Fisk can be on the board. I just don't know that I buy that he's just lingering around out there in round 3. I mean, there's always guys that surprise, and for whatever reason, he's fallen. But what's the old, like, the eye in the sky don't lie? You put on the tape, the kid can play. Like, he can flat out play. And it's just very hard for me to believe he's going to be there. And so we talked about Mason Smith as well as a day 2 guy that Kuiper has. Mason seems like every mock draft you see now, he's a top 50 guy. He's in that. Yesterday, when we looked at him to
42.
Houston at 42. So we talked about before the combine. He was the guy that had the huge boom potential. Go to the combine, be a physical freak, and somebody's going to fall in love with you. In the same way the Saints fall in love with Marcus Davenport and Peyton Turner. Like, someone's going to fall in love with Mason Smith. They're going to pick him early. So I don't know that that's going to be a possibility as well. But some of those guys are hanging around into round 3. Saints could maybe get a steal there. Okay, it's after further review. We'll now got a quick break. We'll come back. We'll head to Auburn, our spring recap, looking at Hugh Freeze's Tigers. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions. Go to glowresources.com. You're a business owner. You're having trouble hiring. You're caught in that rat race. Don't. Just call Glow Resources. Let them help. They're not a last-ditch resort. They're not a, hey, we're a temp staffing agency because you need 100 employees quickly. That's not Glow Resources. You need skilled blue-collar workers that are going to be with your company for the duration. You need Glow Resources. If you need, they have a white-collar division as well. So if you need C-level management, Glow Resources can help with there as well. Remember, they grade themselves at Glow based on how long their employees stay with your business. And they have a 93% retention rate. At Glow Resources, they make it easy. They handle workers' comp, child support, deductions, health insurance, dental insurance, general liability. Glow Resources handles all that, so they make it easy on you, the business owner. Check them out online. GLO, glowresources.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150s, $10,000 off the new F-150 truck, plus 1.9% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. The SEC Spring Recap on After Further Review, the Auburn Tigers.
Year one, there with Hugh Freeze. Saw Auburn go 6-7, 3-5 in the league. Building blocks? Let's find out. Justin Hokanson, Auburn Live. That's on 3. He's on Twitter at _J Hokanson, HOKANSON. Justin, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. So you heard the lead in there, 6-7 year one there with Hugh. What is, I would assume last year everyone's thinking, okay, building blocks, stepping stone. What's that next step for Auburn?
Well, I would probably say beat somebody of significance would be a good step.
Okay.
I think there's different ways you can measure improvement. I think obviously winning more than 6 games, if you go 7-5, is that improvement. But I think for Auburn, it's like you gotta beat somebody. I mean, you got to go all the way back now to the fall of 21, Carson's first year, when you beat a top 10 Ole Miss team in Jordan-Hare. That's it. There have been no ranked wins the last 2 years. There's been nothing. I mean, last year the 6 wins were, against nobody. So it's like you got there, but what did you really do? What did you accomplish? Did you beat anybody you shouldn't have beaten? No, and you lost games you shouldn't have lost. So that, to me, is the big thing. There's a lot of other things you can look for. Like, I want to see offensive identity. I want to see development at a position or a player. Yes, all those things matter. And they played Georgia and Bama close last year. That was good to see. Those are things that you can point to. But I think it's like come through and win some games against really good competition. Even if it's 7-5, beat Kentucky at Kentucky or Missouri at Missouri. Pretty tough games. Or beat Oklahoma at home. Do something like that. Show some progress in that way.
It's going to be odd not seeing LSU and Auburn line up against each other this year.
Yeah.
I personally hate that, but can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs, I suppose. Is this Peyton Thorne's team, like, no questions at all? It's his?
I think so. I mean, I think it's his until you get into the season and something doesn't work, it doesn't click. He starts making mistakes and causes them to go, okay, well, we let it be your team, and now we gotta reevaluate this thing. But until that happens, it's his team. Yeah, I mean, he's the most experienced player. He's the best quarterback on the roster. There were a lot of issues last year. I think Peyton needs to be better, but man, there were a bunch of problems outside of Peyton. Not just need skill players at receiver, but I mean the structure on the offense with Phil Montgomery and Hugh Freeze sort of being involved but not being involved was a mess. I mean, week to week, they would barely have a playbook. I mean, they just go into the next week and go, okay, like, what are we doing this week? What's our identity? I mean, they had no identity, no rhythm, no rhyme or reason. It was not conducive for any success. So, like, even if the quarterback was awesome. So there was just a bunch of problems that I think you bring in Derek Nix, who's been with Freeze in the past. Ken Austin is promoted. He's been with Maurice Harris's brother from Liberty. He's been a part of that group. So a bunch of cohesion now that should fix the infrastructure of the offense and the terminology and what the identity is going to be. Now it's just Peyton, can you execute, and do we have the receivers that can make plays? But I do think Peyton will be in a better situation to perform. Now it'll be on him to be more consistent.
Is Derek Nix going to call the plays, or is it Hugh?
I mean, I've always thought it's going to be Hugh. I told our people that Hugh is going to call plays. I think he's going to bring in Derek Nix, but he's going to call plays. You talk to Derek Nix, he says he's going to call plays. Part of this is the contract that Derek Nix had at Ole Miss required him to be not just the offensive coordinator, but the play caller at his next destination to get out of some buyout stuff. So part of it is that, and so when they speak in public, I fully expect him to say, I'm your guy. I'm calling plays. I'm involved. But of course, Hugh Freeze is going to be involved. I think it'll be a little bit of both. I still think he will be probably a primary play caller, but Derek Nix will be involved. But no, Hugh's going to be very much involved. Nix has never really called plays. And Hugh Freeze is not about to go into year 2 at Auburn. And he loves Derek Nix, and they've been together, but he's not about to turn this over to Derek Nix. He did that last year with Philip Montgomery, and he regretted it.
So Peyton Thorne is the quarterback. I know about Jarquez Hunter. I mean, every LSU fan got to see that in Baton Rouge a couple of years ago when he was a freshman, unfortunately. But honestly, Justin, I don't know any other skill guys there at Auburn right now that make me go, damn, look out. Have they addressed that? Are there guys that through spring sort of emerge to win some of those roles and give some reason for hope offensively?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the big question marks. There's a bunch of pressure that's going to be on Cam Coleman. Cam was, arguably the best receiver in the country. Jermaine Smith that went to Iowa State was number 1. Cam was number 2. Like, Cam was a consensus 5-star. And he is, everybody we talked to, he lived up to the billing in the spring. He's 6'3", long, can run. He was a spring 8A. He was an 8A MVP. He's got to live up to the hype, and that's tough. It's tough to put on a true freshman, especially a receiver. But he's got to live up to the hype. If he does, Auburn's got a pretty good player there. But yeah, they're still lacking. I mean, Jarquez Hunter is decent. Damari Alston behind him is decent. Those guys are capable, but game-changing SEC playmakers, elite playmakers, they're still not there yet. Cam is an example of a guy. Perry Thompson's a guy that flipped from Alabama who's coming in the summer. That's an example of a guy. But they're just true freshmen. So I think they'll be better. Robert Lewis came over from Georgia State. He's a pretty talented, experienced guy, and I think could do some things. But I think this whole roster is still at least a year away where you can kind of look across and go, okay, I'm starting to see more playmakers. But Cam Coleman, the amount of pressure on him to live up to the hype is huge.
Couple more minutes here. Justin Hokanson is with us, auburnlive.com. It's part of On 3. Defensively, DJ Durkin comes in. How much different does Auburn's defense look, at least as best you can tell through spring with Durkin?
I think it'll be different in terms of, like, I think Ron Roberts loved to use the nickel, and he loved to blitz the nickel, and I think Durkin wants to keep linebackers in the box and use linebackers to blitz and things like that. Roberts was big on trying to create havoc. I think Durkin's going to blitz as well. Maybe philosophy. Durkin wants to sort of build from the back, get the secondary set, and then build forward, make sure you don't get beat deep. That's probably the biggest thing we heard from Hugh Freeze is he thought in some key situations last year they gave up big plays at the wrong moment. So I think that's probably going to be an emphasis for DJ Durkin and the defense is, not just throughout, but in critical moments, we cannot give up big passing plays or big runs. But the surprising thing, as somebody who's not been around Durkin, didn't know a lot about him, the amount of players and coaches that praised him in terms of being around him, being able to talk to him about things non-football related, and him stepping into the room and being able to coach guys without them feeling offended. Just some really specific things that it seems like they've really taken to him and like him a lot. We'll see if he can. I mean, Auburn's defense was pretty good last year, but Roberts was. There was a lot of friction. I mean, that guy's just black or white, So I think there's at least a little bit better cohesion with Durkin in the room in terms of just the attitude and how he sort of meshes with everybody.
Last thing for you, Justin. Portal needs. With the portal just opening up this week, what is the must get for Auburn in this portal cycle?
Well, they've got to build depth at the defensive line. Interior, probably need another buck pass rusher type player. Jalen McLeod is really the only big-time playmaker there. You did get some freshmen, Amaris Williams and Javante Waller, who are both big-time players that are kind of that end buck position, but they need depth in the interior. That's the weakest part of their roster. I mean, Marcus Harris is good, but he's gone, and you lost some other guys that you brought in as transfers. That interior is thin, and it's lacking guys who've done it and produced. And so I think you've got to try to go get at least another one, maybe two, specifically in the interior. Try to find one more at the buck position. They hosted a guy from Indiana today, but that's where I'm looking. And then receiver, probably a couple receivers I would imagine still might leave the roster. Try to go get another receiver to, preferably an experienced receiver that can come into that room and play right away, that can get the offense and understands what to do, not somebody that's going to be a project. Those two sort of areas, I still think they're a little thin, and if they can build some depth, it would help.
He is Justin Hokanson giving us our Auburn spring recap, auburnlive.com. You get him on Twitter at _J Hokanson. Man, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, be well. It's After Further Review, brought to you by Pure Restoration, pure-restoration.com, pure-restoration.com. I want to give one quick thought to follow up here on Auburn's schedule in just a quick second. But you go to pure-restoration.com, kill mold, remove odor. If you think you might have mold, if you've had water intrusion, you most certainly need to take into account that. Remember, they can handle all of your demo and build back as well. So if you have an issue with mold where you do need to cut sheetrock, or if you had fire and you need to spray their patented non-toxic dry fog to get rid of all that odor that comes along with it and kill all the water and mold from all the intrusion, they can handle all of it. It's one stop for everything. It's Pure Restoration. Pure-restoration.com. Pure-restoration.com. Maybe you're a gym or workout facility. You want to get that sweat smell out. One good fog, it'll knock that out. Maybe you live in a home where there was a smoker and you want to get rid of a cigarette odor or a pet odor. Pure Restoration can help. Pure-restoration.com. Pure-restoration.com. Auburn, I think, again, it's going to be odd. LSU not playing Auburn this year. And I love the Auburn series. Y'all know that I talk about it forever, and I'm going to miss that game. But Auburn has what I think is a manageable start to the season to allow themselves the opportunity to build continuity before the grind comes. They play Alabama A&M, which is a SWAC school that they should handle that game relatively easily. And then they're going to play Cal at home. Cal returns that trip. Then you get New Mexico, Arkansas, and Oklahoma all at home. You don't leave Auburn until October. So October the 5th when you go to Georgia, which that's not going to go well. But then you get an open date before you go back-to-back at Missouri, at Kentucky. So it's 3 straight road games, but you get the bye between Georgia and Missouri. And then, November is Vandy, Monroe, A&M all at home. Then you finish with the Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa. I guess my point is, when I look at, if you can start 4-0 and then beat Oklahoma at home to get to 5-0, you got that stretch in the middle, at Georgia, at Missouri, at Kentucky. What you do in that stretch kind of determines what your season's going to be. If you lose them all and you go limping into November, and you're probably going to lose at Bama, it's a brutal road schedule. Your toughest games are all on the road. Georgia, Missouri, Kentucky, Bama. You get all your toughest games on the road. So you lose those 4. An 8-4 season for Auburn seems manageable against this schedule. If you win your 8 home games, I think they could win their 8 home games and lose their 4 road games, go 8-4. And that's a big step from a 6-6 season a year ago where they lost the bowl game and went 6-7. So year 2 under Hugh Freeze. We'll see what steps they can take. All right, well, now I got a quick break. Muso wrap up hour number 2 with Tigers and the Pros.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's. A lot of people are excited, man. I shared the good news. Of course, it's still spring, still crawfish season, and Rouse's has dropped the prices of live crawfish to $2.99 a pound. That's right. Live crawfish under $3 a pound every day over at Rouse's. Man, and today, April the 17th, I didn't know this, but I saw it on Rouse's social media. April the 17th is National Crawfish Day. I didn't know that. So how about you celebrate today? And Rouse's boils 3 million pounds of crawfish annually. It's all in-house at their in-house boiling rooms, boiled hot every single day, hot and fresh every single day already box, bag, and tag, ready to roll for you when you walk in. Of course, you can always buy them live as well over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. You can download the Rouse's app. You can get all the weekly specials there as well, and crawfish. Rouse's. This feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Musu, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, baseball heavy here today in Tigers in the Pros. Getaway day all across Major League Baseball. Houston Astros fell to the Braves. They got swept, actually. Alex Bregman 1 for 2 today with a single. Did drive in a run. Reached base with 3 walks as well. So it's been a slower start for Bregman, but starting to pick it up there 4 times around the bases today. Josh Smith got the pinch hit here today for the Rangers. 1 for 1. It was a double. And ended up scoring a run. His 4th double of the year. He's hitting .319. He's just going to keep staying in that lineup.
Not a babe.
Kevin Gausman was on the bump earlier today for the Blue Jays versus the Yankees. Turned in a pretty good outing. 5 innings, a run. Did walk 3 guys, but struck out 6. Gausman, who's had really great success the last few years, has an ERA over 8 early in this season. So he needs to, get that down a little bit there. Dylan Cruz. Seems right now like you're just daily mention of Dylan Cruz. 1 for 4 last night in the Senators win, but it was a big one. It actually couldn't have been bigger. It was a walk-off single to win the ball game. No one cares about the offer prior if you hit the walk-off single to win the game. So an RBI as well. Cruz up to 270 now in AA.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the video started with somebody else batting.
Oh, my bad.
So, no, it's all good. It's just the way they had a clip. So
Yeah.
I had to scroll to find.
I meant to give you a timestamp in the email, so that's why I said my bad.
Well, you're fired.
Yeah. Single up the middle for Cruz there. And I thought I had another one. I don't. That's Tigers in the Pros.
All right, presented by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com with 18 locations across South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. You need to buy tires? Eventually, we all do. It's not a fun thing to do. You know it's a fun purchase? Like buying a new car. That's a fun purchase. You know it's a fun purchase? Like buying tickets to the big game. That's a fun purchase. Tires, not a fun purchase. But you want tires that are reliable, you want the best tires, and you want them at the best price. Well, that's Shawbills. And most importantly, when you go to Shawbills, they're going to treat you like family. So every time for the rest of your life, when you need something done to your car, you're going to go to Shawbills because they treat you like family. It's part of the Charlie's Dozen, the customer's bill of rights. They're going to treat you awesome. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. Thanks for hopping aboard with us here. SportsCenter's coming up, gets caught up on national headlines. There is two very prominent NFL analysts laid out a scenario where the Saints trade up to draft Malik Neighbors. I don't want to bury the lead with it, but I'm going to get to that in about 20 minutes. When we come back after the top of the hour, we know LSU has said they're going to target defensive tackles. Well, which defensive tackle? We'll name names when we come back for Hour 3 on AFR.
AFR.
Speaking of fun purchases being vehicles, get on by South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. That's a fun purchase. You go to the website. You can shop them online. Tell you all the time, if it's on the lot, it's online. 75th anniversary sales event for Volkswagen is going on right now. And boy, do they have some amazing deals. 1.9% APR for 60 months or $3,000 customer bonus right now. You got a $500 off bonus for college students. It's a college student discount. I've been telling you about this one as well. 0% for 60 months on brand new Tiguan. Y'all, it is an awesome time to buy a new vehicle from South Point Volkswagen. You want to shop their inventory? It's easy. Go to the website. You get shirts by year, make, model, body style, price. It's all right there. New and certified pre-owned. You want to shop their offers, schedules, work out your financing. You can do it all at southpointvw.com and then go test drive. Airline just north of Highland. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150s, $10,000 off the new F-150 truck, plus 1.9% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana. The local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any other steel needs you or your business need at 225-647-2020.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Raptors two-way player Jontay Porter has been banned by the NBA for gambling violations. League investigation revealed he disclosed confidential information to sports bettors, limited his own participation in at least one game while he was with Toronto, and bet on NBA games. Pelicans power forward Zion Williamson will miss Friday's elimination play-in game versus Sacramento due to a hamstring injury. That game determines the West's 8th seed. The 76ers likely will have their best player on the floor when they face the Heat in the East 7-8 play-in game tonight. Joel Embiid, who tweaked his surgically repaired knee last week, is expected to play. And look for one of his teammates to have a big night versus Miami, predicts ESPN NBA analyst Tim Legler.
Tyrese Maxey might be the headliner coming out of this game tomorrow. What's going to happen tonight? The overcompensation you have to give Joel Embiid is going to create so many opportunities for Tyrese Maxey. I do not think the Heat defensively on the perimeter have what it takes to slow him down. I think he has a huge night and sets the stage for a deep run for Embiid.
Sixers Heat in 1 hour on ESPN, followed by Hawks Bulls, the East 9-10 game, also on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yeah.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
3 more LSU players hit the portal.
Hump day.
Not 1.
It's hump day.
Not 2.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Not 3.
Hump day.
We have 3 more. So 3. 3 in addition to Jackson Howard, who already went.
It's hump day.
Talked about that in hour 1. Kai
Mike.
hit the
What day is it,
portal.
Mike?
Connor Gilbreth, Ryan Robinson.
Hump day.
Tigers getting closer to that 85 number.
It's hump day.
Zion is out for Friday's game against Kings.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Hamstring.
Hump day.
He's got a hamstring.
It's hump day.
Not a knee.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He doesn't have a knee.
Hump
Or he doesn't have an ankle.
Well, he's got one of those.
It's hump
He doesn't have an ankle.
It's just not injured.
He doesn't have a knee.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He doesn't have a back.
Hump day.
He's got a hamstring.
It's hump day.
All right, Pluckers trivia, bottom of the hour.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Taylor Swift round.
Hump day.
Maybe you should phone a friend and call Erica.
See, I might need E-Rock's help.
It's
Do it.
hump day.
You got a number. I mean, you've called her before for the when Terrio never gets a guest picker during football season, so you give her a shout.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, we got a lot to do. Let's get to it here as we start hour number 3 of AFR. Glad to have you all aboard with us. Portal opened up on Tuesday. 4 LSU players are in the portal. Jackson Howard in the portal. We learned Kai Preen, Connor Gilbreth, Ryan Robinson, all in the portal if you've been following the numbers. Again, last week, our very unofficial count, Tigers were at 88. They needed to lose 3 more to get to 85. They've done that now. But if you want to add more, you got to subtract. And look, Brian Kelly has said flatly and on the record, like, they're going to add at one position in particular.
Brian, as you go into the offseason, like you said, kind of evaluating this roster, other than maybe defensive tackle, are there positions that y'all might target in the transfer portal?
I don't see any other positions that we need to be in the transfer portal for other than the defensive tackle position, really.
Well, there is one potentially, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But, you know, when you look at defensive tackle as a whole, you are losing your most productive player at defensive tackle, who a year ago was Jordan Jefferson. And then you're losing Guillory and Smith, who are probably your highest draftable players, as we well know. And so not just did I say Guillory and Smith? Guillory's coming back. You're losing Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo. Forgive me if I misspoke there. But Jacobian Guillory is coming back as a fifth-year player. And listen, Brian Kelly raved about Jacobian Guillory earlier in spring, and that's something to be really optimistic about.
In terms of stopping the run, Jacobian Guillory has been outstanding. I mean, he's singularly been, I think, in terms of what Bo Davis is looking for, he's been outstanding, and he's been a stalwart. We got to find the other guy, and that's what we're looking for. We're trying to develop that second guy, and then we'll have some depth guys behind him.
So who's the second guy? That's the big question right now for LSU. And look, Jalen Lee, you brought in a year ago from Florida. You brought in Jordan Jefferson a year ago. You know that as well. But a year ago, when LSU was going into the portal looking at tackle, it was adding numbers. Like, you had to add bodies a year ago. You got Jordan Jefferson. You got Jalen Lee. You added Parrish Shand, who played inside and out. Again, a year ago, it was about you added Braden Swinson at end. You needed bodies. You needed warm bodies at that position, right? Right now, I can run through what LSU's got on the defensive line, just on the interior, and you have enough bodies. But now you do. Well, you will in the fall because you got the 2 freshmen coming in with Dominic McKinley and Demyron Johnson. So you've got Jacobian Guillory. You got Jalen Lee. You moved Kimo Makanaioli over there. You've added Gio Paez from Wisconsin. You got Sean Washington as well, the JUCO. That's 5. And then the 2 freshmen I just mentioned, that gets you 7. You got 7 interior defensive linemen. You got enough bodies right now. So you're not trying to add numbers. But what Brian Kelly said there is we're looking for the other guy. Or we're looking for the other starter next to Guillory. Well, you're going to do that in the portal. And, you know, I've gone through this, and I mentioned it to you on Tuesday when the portal opened. But my understanding is, initially anyway, there are 3. Initially, and I think that list is probably growing. But what I was told was we one of them we know, which is Philip Bleedy. Philip Bleedy, who's the defensive lineman from Indiana, who was at LSU a week ago for a visit. Bleedy's the guy who's a 5th-year player, started his career at Texas Tech, spent this past year at Indiana, and married 2 kids. He's a full-grown man, and he's looking for an opportunity to play one more year of college football. So that's one of the 3. The other 2 that I was told were a couple of G5 players, group of 5 players, one of them with ties to Louisiana. Well, one of those G5 players has announced himself LSU's interest. That's C.J. West. So C.J. West, who's out of Kent State, tweeted that LSU offered. Now, everybody else has offered CJ West as well. If you go look at CJ West's Twitter, it's nothing but a long stream of programs that have offered. Indiana offered, Rutgers has offered, Miami, K-State, Colorado, Wisconsin. I mean, it's just a long list of Arkansas, still going, A&M, Michigan. Like everybody, this is the guy right now, Cal. This is the guy, CJ West, that everybody right now is offering on the defensive line. It's very much akin to what happened a year ago with Braden Fisk. You know, G5 guy who was at Western Michigan, wasn't highly recruited coming out of high school, had a really good career at Western Michigan, then everybody wanted him. He landed at Florida State. That's CJ West this year. 4 years at Kent State, played in 36 games, and he's been a good player with a good push on the interior. In his career, 110 tackles, 19.5 TFLs, 7 sacks. By comparison, just look at Jalen Lee, right? So Jalen Lee, LSU brought in from Florida a year ago, another a guy going to his 5th year. West, who we're talking about from Kent State, has played in 36 games. Lee has played in 32. So comparable number of games played. 110 tackles to 21. 19.5 TFLs to 3. 7 sacks to 1. This has been a mighty productive player at the G5 level that everybody wants on the interior of their defensive line for his final year of college eligibility. The big difference between Fisk a year ago and CJ West now is a year ago, LSU in the portal flat got outbid by Florida State. I've gone through it. LSU's got the money in the portal right now with their collective to make sure that doesn't happen this year. So if there's a player they want and it comes down to a dollar amount, LSU ain't going to lose that this year. Again, I'll reiterate for those who haven't heard me say it. Brian Thomas Jr., Mekhi Wingo, Mason Smith, each of them was offered $500,000 by LSU's collective to return for 2024. Each of them passed. That freed up at least $1.5 million that they were thinking was going to be allocated for those players. So you've got at least that money, and they've fundraised beyond that as well, as Gordon and others have told us. So LSU is in a much different position this year in this portal cycle than they were a year ago. So CJ West is one of them. That's one of the names. We know Philip Bleedy from Indiana is the other, who has already been named. And there's another player with ties to the state of Louisiana who I'd rather not be the one to name that name. But if and when that comes out, we'll certainly talk about it. But those are 3. Now, remember what Brian Kelly said. We're looking for the other guy. You're looking for the other starter. So as it was very implicitly expressed to me, LSU is looking for starting caliber defensive linemen, okay? Not guys that are coming in that are bodies like a year ago because you had to bolster your numbers. It's someone that can come in and start for you. Line up next to Jacoby and Guillory and be a day 1 starter, a 1-year mercenary. And when you look right now, ESPN with the has ranked the players in the portal. Caden Proctor is number 1. We know he's going back to Alabama. Number 2 is Damian Martinez, the running back transferring out of Oregon State. Number 3 is Dayon Hayes. He's a defensive lineman from Pittsburgh. Ding, ding, ding. And then Dominic Williams, defensive tackle from TCU. They have listed as the 4th best player in the portal, any position. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of California, depending on the recruiting service. I saw him at On3 as a 3-star. He was the number 55 defensive lineman in the country. So not a guy that had, huge interest coming out of high school, but a guy that has been a 2-year starter at TCU, was started all 15 games as a freshman on that team that played for the national championship, and started all 13 games this past year at TCU. So he's been a 2-year starter. They have him listed as the 4th best player, any position in the portal. ESPN does. That's the kind of player that LSU is going to be in the mix for. Now, I don't know if it's going to be Dominic Williams. I don't know if it's going to be CJ West, Philip Bleedy, a combination of a couple of those guys. I don't know how it's all going to land, but what I'm confident in saying is that LSU has put themselves in a position where they have a need at that position. They're going hard after that position, and they got money to spend to where if there's someone who's only seeking a paycheck for a year before they go off to the next level, LSU's got a lot to offer. Financially, play in the SEC at a place like LSU, you can come in and start. All those opportunities are there, and that's some of the guys that you need to be keeping an eye on right now. So as this moves along, we'll talk more and more about it. I know the other position that it was expressed to me implicitly that if there's a starter, again, not a body, a starter that LSU would take, it would be at cornerback. And everybody's mentioned Cormani McClain, he was a 5-star, was a top 20 player overall in the country a year ago out of Colorado, and Cormani McClain hit the portal. I know Shea Dixon earlier today tweeted that McClain would not be a target for LSU, and I think the reason to keep in mind something like that is because Cormani McClain is a guy that, yes, he was highly regarded coming out of high school as a 5-star. He was a top 20 overall player in the country, and he's entering the transfer portal. But last year at Colorado, tell me if this sounds familiar. He did not see the field early on. Dion told reporters that the freshman needed to do more to get on the field. Ended up seeing action in just 9 games. He did start 4, just 13 tackles. Does that sound familiar? 5-star, super highly recruited, a guy that coaches needed to see him do more. When he got on the field, it didn't really perform. It's the Denver Harris story. Like, that's what it is. So when LSU is talking about who they might add in the portal on the defensive side, it ain't just because he had 5 stars next to his name. They want guys they want someone who's a starter. Jarek Bernard-Converse was a 4-year starter at Oklahoma State who came in and was an immediate starter for you. You find that guy in the portal, they might be interested. But defensive tackle is the absolute must. It's a few of the guys that they're keeping an eye on, so we'll continue to follow it as well. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Man, it's been my pleasure to tell you about Optimize. I've been really so pleasantly surprised by the feedback I've gotten from our friends over at Optimize, how many of you have already, just in these few short weeks that we've talked about them, reached out. I think you get it. Because we saw the news a couple of weeks ago. The projections are that this is going to be a more active than usual storm season. We know the threat when you live along the Gulf. There's always a threat of storms that can knock the power out for extended period of time. For us, for our family, Ida was that tipping point. We had a Generac whole home generator installed after Ida. And I know literally everyone listening to me, everyone, if you could have a generator at your house, you would. Who wouldn't want an automatic home standby generator? Power goes out, boom, generator kicks on, powers your whole house like nothing happened. The question everybody has, can I afford it? And who should I hire? Who should I buy from? Well, can you afford it? Optimize, turnkey install. They have their price quote guarantee where whatever the quote is they give you, that is it. There's no more fees. There's no more added anything to it. That's the price. And they have financing options that can fit any budget. So can you afford it? Yes, that's number one. And why should you call Optimize? Because it's all they do. The only thing Optimize does is automatic home standby generators from Generac. That's it. They're not a company like I heard an HVAC company's ad where they also sell generators. No. The only thing Optimize does is sell, service, and install Generac automatic home standby generators. That's why they're Louisiana's #1 Generac dealer. 4 physical offices so they service the entire 1012 corridor. From Lake Charles to Slidell, every point in between. If you want a generator, Optimize. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. I know we covered a lot of ground there. That was a lot. Probably should have broken that up into a couple of segments. My apologies for that. So let's get cruising here. When we come back, we'll get to Pluckers Trivia, bottom of this hour. When we get back, 2 very well-known NFL analysts have projected the Saints to trade up and draft Malik Neighbors. I'll let you hear their explanation for it, and I'll talk about it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Always love telling you about the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. 2 amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge. Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. Tell you every day, you want to host your next event, the Renaissance, they're in the business of saying yes. So whatever event that may be, if it's a wedding reception, if it's a board meeting for executives, if it's a fundraiser, boy, they can absolutely make it happen with their amazing spaces there at the Renaissance Hotel. From as few as a dozen people to as many as 500 people, it's the Renaissance Hotel. And by the way, coming up this Friday, April the 19th, is the next Evenings at the Renaissance with our friends from Noel Distillery. You've heard us talk about Noel. They do a local father-daughter distillery that do great work. And they're going to have some beautiful, exquisite cocktails there at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Tickets are free. It's Friday night from 6 to 8:30. Evenings at the Renaissance. This Friday at the Renaissance Hotel.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I want to get to this mock draft that projects Saints trading up from Malik Neighbors. I'll get to that in just a second. It's from two. It ain't like, somebody randomized one of, those PFF mock draft randomizers. Like, 2 very reputable people landed at this conclusion. We'll get to that in a second. ESPN also put up if you missed this, Matt Miller asked 10 scouts anonymously to put together a mock draft. And it was just interesting to see what they landed on, because a scout has a different perspective than an owner or a coach. And I remember, forgive me, I can't remember his name, but it was the scout for the Astros who, in the Derek Jeter year, retired after the draft because he said, if I can't convince a team to draft Derek Jeter, then I shouldn't be doing this job. So a lot of times it's the scout's job to pass along what they have to the coaches, to the ownership, to the front office to say, here's who we should take, right? And so just very quickly, anonymously, Caleb Williams, 1 to the Bears. Drake May, 2 to the Commanders. Jaden, 3 to the Patriots. Marvin Harrison, 4 to the Cardinals. No giant surprises there. Joe Alt, 5 to the Chargers. No trades. They have Malik Neighbors, 6 to the Giants. Rome Odunze, 7 to the Titans. That's a surprise to see another receiver right there. How about Quinyon Mitchell, 8 to the Falcons? Most people have the Falcons taking Dallas Turner, an edge rusher. This scout is Quinyon Mitchell going 8 to Atlanta, the cornerback. Byron Murphy, the defensive tackle from Texas, 9 to the Chicago Bears. A lot of people, especially after the off-the-field incident a couple weeks ago, are wondering, does he drop out of round 1? This scout has him going 9 overall. And then Talise Fuaga, the tackle from Oregon State, 10 to the Jets. So Alt and Fuaga in the top 10. Interesting sometimes just to see a scout's perspective there and how they have it going. But Jaden, 3 to New England, and Neighbors, 6 to the Giants. But the big surprise, I think, there to see, Mitchell, the cornerback from Toledo, 8 to Atlanta, and Murphy, 9, both in the top 10. And keep in mind, the other thing there is an omission. No J.J. McCarthy. Now, they didn't project trades, but no J.J. McCarthy in the top 10 there as well, which is I think is likely going to happen. We're all assuming that's going to happen in a trade. So, in any event. Okay. I want to get to, let me get to this. So, I think from a Saints perspective, we are all assuming that New Orleans is going to stay at 14 and draft an offensive tackle. And if they move up, it's maybe because someone they covet, like Joe Alt or maybe Brock Bowers, takes what they perceive as a little bit of a slide. I don't think anyone is putting it past the New Orleans Saints to trade up, okay? It's what the Saints do. They're aggressive in the draft. They move up. This one, though, caught me a little off guard because it's not an LSU perspective. It's not a fan site. 2 very reputable NFL reporters, one of them a draft analyst, put together a mock draft, and they landed on the Saints drafting Malik Neighbors. Field Yates and it was on ESPN was on Peter Schrager's podcast, and they did a joint mock draft. This is them discussing ultimately the Saints trading up with Tennessee to get to number 7 to take Malik Neighbors, which, by the way, just let me set the stage. They've got Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, 1, 2, 3. J.J. McCarthy, 4 to the Giants. Giants moving up to 4 to take McCarthy. Marvin Harrison, 5 to the Chargers. Rome Odunze, 6 to Arizona. And then the Saints going up to take Malik Neighbors at 7.
I'm going to state that I believe Tennessee is a compelling trade down team. We're going to have some fun here. Let me disrupt things a little bit, okay? This is going to be tough to do because they have paid premiums recently. I'm having the New Orleans Saints trade up here.
I love this. Go on.
The Titans are at 7. They have a glaring needed offensive tackle. We all acknowledge that. What I am not convinced of, Peter, is that while I have Joe Alt as the number 1 tackle on my board, and I think many in the draft industry complex have it the same way, I am not convinced that the league has complete consensus that Joe Alt is head and shoulders above Tali Fuaga or Olu Fashanu, Troy Fautano, whoever it might be, right? With offensive linemen, especially when you have one of the absolute greatest to ever do it in Bill Callahan, he might say, hey, you guys, I'm happy with Joe Alt at 7. But if we're at 14 and we get Olu Fashanu, I'm cool with it too. I love it. I'm going to do my trade down. So the Saints now at 7 and the Titans at 14. I do think the Saints have a desperate need at offensive tackle. They may say, hey, let's address that. In round 2, Malik Neighbors off the board. He stays home. New Orleans.
Wow. Hard to listen. There's 2 ways to look at it. Number 1 is, would you be thrilled to have Malik Neighbors? Absolutely, right? Look, in a vacuum, if the New Orleans Saints moved up, took Malik, now you're talking about arguably the most dynamic offensive weapon in this draft going to New Orleans. It immediately solves your issue for Derek Carr. Now you've got Olave, Shaheed, you add Neighbors to that mix, and they're unguardable. There aren't enough NFL teams that have 3 defensive backs that can handle those 3 guys. You may have 1, some may have 2. Nobody has 3 that can handle that. Immediately it elevates Derek Carr because of your commitment to Carr. You got to get him weapons. So, yeah, in a vacuum, I love it. Plus, Louisiana guy, close to home. Yes, 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 yes. Love it, love it, love it. But you haven't fixed offensive line. And what would it cost you? Remember, to move up, like we've talked about this a little bit before. So just look at what the Eagles did last year when they got Jalen Carter. The Eagles went up to number 9 to take Jalen Carter. And they gave up their first-round pick and a 4. So, look, the Saints could give up this year's 1, right, the 14th pick, and next year's 4. Would you do it? I mean, my immediate reaction is, yeah, that's it. All it takes is next year's 1 or this year's 1 and a 4. Then, yeah, I mean, that stands to reason that would make a lot of sense if you could do a trade like that. That's a comparable spot in the draft, like what happened a year ago. But it doesn't eliminate your desperate need for an offensive lineman. And I don't know that if you're sitting there at 45, that you're talking about the same realm of player as you are at the beginning of the draft. Like you just heard that there when they're talking about Callahan saying, all right, the NFL doesn't necessarily have this consensus as to who is the best offensive lineman. And keep in mind with kind of what they just discussed there, the way that sort of plays out, Williams, Daniels, May, McCarthy, Harrison, Adunze, Neighbors, 7. They got Dallas Turner, 8, Fautanu, 9, Bowers, 10, Latu, then Alt, 12. They don't even have Alt as the top offensive tackle. And they still got Fuaga and Fashanu, or he said Fashanu, whichever way you put the emphasis, at 16. So that's the tough part for me is to look at and say, yes, moving up to get Malik Neighbors gets you arguably the most dynamic offensive weapon in this draft. And I love it on so many levels, but it doesn't eliminate your biggest need, which is offensive tackle, where at 14, you're going to have plenty of options without having to give up assets. And in this draft class with so much receiving talent, there's going to be a really good receiver there at 45. Is it Neighbors? No, but what is the biggest need for you? And the biggest need is not receiver. Because if Derek Carr isn't upright, he can't throw to the receivers anyway. So while I would love to see it, and honestly, if we're sitting here on that Friday after the first round of the draft, and you tell me the Saints have Malik Neighbors, I'm probably stoked about it. I'm doing backflips because what an incredible weapon to have in this offense. But I'm really concerned about what they do at 45 because I don't know if there's a good enough offensive lineman that's a plug-and-play guy like you'd have with any of the guys we just talked about with Alts or the 3 Fs. Fautanu, Fuaga, and Fashanu. Interesting. From Field Yates and Peter Schrager, Saints moving up to 7 to take Malik Neighbors, if it does play out that way. Okay. It's after further review. Y'all, I'm so excited, man. I get to tell you about Supper Club. 2 years ago, the restaurant scene in Baton Rouge changed forever when Supper Club opened. And by now, I would have thought everyone would have been to Supper Club. But it was so interesting when I was sitting down with Brandon and the whole gang over there. 80% of their visitors are still first-timers. So many of you still have not yet experienced Supper Club. And I'm going to have the great opportunity over the coming days and weeks and months to tell you about the food and how so many things set Supper Club apart. But what I want to start by doing is dispelling a few misconceptions which might have prevented you from going to Supper Club up until now. Eric and I have been half dozen times. We love it. It's an amazing experience. But even though club is in the name, it's not members only. A Supper Club is very much open to the public every Tuesday to Saturday. That's number one. Number two, you never need a reservation to go to the bar. So you knock off of work, you want to go meet a client, close some business, have a cocktail, glass of wine before you head home. Supper Club, you never need a reservation to go to the bar. And you can dine at the bar as well. And sometimes they have tables in the bar area where you can sit and enjoy a meal. and you never need a reservation. And number 3 is the dress code. I went over to Supper Club for a meeting last week, and I wore a sport coat because I thought, well, you got to have a sport coat to go to Supper Club. No, you don't. The stated dress code is collared shirt, and they're elegant casual. If you want to put on a sport coat, by all means do it. But if you're wearing a golf shirt and slacks or nice jeans, you can go to Supper Club. What they don't want is T-shirts and frayed jeans, flip-flops, hats. It's elegant casual. So you don't need to run home and grab the sport coat. You don't need a reservation to go to the bar, and you don't have to be a member to go. But one thing is undeniable. A hot dog tastes better at the ballpark. A margarita tastes better at the beach. And a steak tastes better at Supper Club. Make sure you check it off your list if you haven't been yet. To Supper Club on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. Thrilled to have them on board and to be able to tell you much more about the amazing things they have going on at Supper Club. Get on by tonight, man. Go have a cocktail after work. Pop one in and see our friends over at Supper Club. Okay, it's after further review. We'll do Pluckers trivia when we come back with Muse. We'll get to Otter Locks. We got a ton still to do before we get out of here, and glad you're hanging out. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Y'all, it is spring. Spring is sprung, and it is time to get by Clegg's. Every single day, new truckloads, new shipments of flowers and plants arriving daily. But remember also, for whatever reason you're getting into the garden, Clegg's can help. If it's time to weed and feed your lawn, Clegg's has the products. Maybe the anthills are popping up or other uninvited pests. Clegg's can help you out there as well. You want something decorative for your outdoor area. Maybe it's tuned wind chimes or bird feeders, hummingbird feeders. Clegg's has all of that as well. If you need mulch or soil, bulk or bag, Clegg's has got it. Bottom line is, when you're just getting in your garden, just planting something, the patio pots, the flower beds, whatever it is, Clegg's has got you covered, and they got the best selection and the best expertise. Buy local, shop local, Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Yo, Jake here from my friends over at Community Steel Company located in Gonzales, Louisiana.
the local place you can turn to for all of your metal building needs. Notice I said local, not Houston, not Dallas, not Atlanta, but right here in Gonzales. Visit them at their brand new state-of-the-art website at communitysteelco.com or pick up the phone and give them a call today to answer all of your questions on your metal buildings, roofing and sheet metal, and any
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all you can eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Mark your calendar and invite your friends as we celebrate the NFL Draft in style with the Boudreaux's Electric ESPN Draft Party live from Don Juan's Cigar Bar and exclusively on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Join us Thursday, April 25th at 7 p.m. and hang with the ESPN Baton Rouge Dream Team while indulging in the finest cigars paired with signature cocktails. It's the Boudreaux's Electric ESPN Baton Rouge Draft Party at Don Juan's Cigar Bar and live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel.
All right, Muse, it's time for Pluckers Trivia. Hit it.
It's time for Pluckers Trivia. How many will Musso get wrong today? Pluckers Trivia. Every Wednesday night, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson.
Okay. We're good.
All right. Sorry, I was doing something in the break and didn't do that.
All right. Pluckers Trivia. Taylor Swift Trivia. All right, Muse. Your friend's ready. Go phone a friend. Hurry up.
All right, man.
Hurry up.
Right.
Hurry up.
Hey.
We're up against it here.
I'm going to do this on air?
Yeah, that's fine. Tonight is Taylor Swift Trivia over at Pluckers. Muse is not confident in himself or his ability here. So say, hey, look, call the Queen Swiftie. Go ahead. Yeah, no, that's fine. You can dial it. It's fine. That would be my wife, Erica E-Rock. I just texted her. She's supposed to answer. Erica, answer the phone.
I'm
sorry. Muse?
I mean, Erica didn't change her number, did she?
No.
All right. Well, might have to go at this alone.
Don't worry, radio and television audience. We're just going to have you wait here. Muse, I tell you what.
Well, I was going to step off real
this.
fast. I didn't botch anything.
You
I was going to
botched
step
this
off.
badly.
E-Rock didn't answer the phone.
You should have had this done in the break. Okay. See if she calls. I just sent her the number. You might be able to handle the first one alone, Muse.
Oh, wait.
There, we got it?
I think so.
All right. Thank God.
See what we got here.
Just wasted a minute of people's lives.
Hey. What
Okay. I don't know. Hey, babe. How are you?
Hey, babe. I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. Muse here is phoning a friend.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Tonight is Pluckers Trivia.
Okay.
And it is Taylor Swift night.
Oh, awesome.
So,
oh, my God.
I wanted you to go there with me tonight so we could win all the gift cards, but you have to go to the stupid fair meeting. So I got to go huh?
It's not a stupid meeting.
Well, it's a stupid meeting when it's keeping me from winning Pluckers gift cards.
Oh, Matt, we don't need more Pluckers gift cards.
Yeah, we do. All right.
So
Are you
who's
ready?
doing the, yeah, I'm ready. Well, I don't know trivia stuff. I don't know any trivia.
3 questions.
Oh.
If you get them wrong, you don't get to go to see Taylor in October.
Stop. No, that is not fair at all.
Ooh.
That is not fair.
Now we got real stakes, don't we?
Yeah,
Come
those are
on.
high.
Whatever.
All right, you ready for the first one?
I'm ready.
Sharing a name with one of her albums, what year was Taylor Swift born?
1989. Boom. So was Travis, by the way.
Oh, how about that?
Bonus points.
See, look at that. See, she's trying to flex on you.
I
All
am.
right, you ready? Number 2?
I'm not ready.
All right. Taylor's parents named her after this best-selling music artist who's had many number one hits, including 1971's Fire and Rain?
Oh, I know that song.
You don't know this answer?
I know this answer.
Oh.
Wait, Fire and Rain? Is that this You Got a Friend? James Taylor.
How about it? Okay.
Good pull.
Is that the same guy that sings You Got a Friend?
Yes.
Or something? Okay, yeah, I
I
know
think so,
him.
right?
I know him.
You got a friend of me?
Old
Yeah.
James.
Yeah.
James. Go with
Old
that.
James. All right, last one.
Okay.
This is for your Taylor tickets.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
This song, named after a country music artist,
Okay.
was the lead single off of Taylor's 2006 self-titled debut album.
Wait, what?
This song, named after a country music artist, was the lead single off of Taylor's 2006 self-titled debut album.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I know this. Tim McGraw, because they had a great relationship. Oh, yes. Oh, my God, I'm going to a concert. Yes.
Muse, did you know all three of them?
I knew all three of them.
You see, Muse?
I would have gotten
How
them.
does Muse know these?
The point, and I said this to him earlier, and he's like, "Oh, well, no." I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "I'm not a fan of a blah 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 blah."
I'm not.
You didn't know any of those,
and he gets them all right, and he got all the anime ones right, and he's trying to say, "I'm not an anime fan."
To be fair, though,
the
the James Taylor one I only would have gotten because of Fire and Rain. I didn't know she was named after him, but the hint in the question would have given me that.
That was a good question.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right, Erica. Well, I'm disappointed that you're not going with me to Pluckers Trivia tonight to go win some gift cards.
But you can go with me and Danae and Keith too. Taylor in New Orleans. Woohoo! I think that winning should give me like meet and greet passes and stuff too now, Matt.
How do you think I'm going to get meet and greet passes with Taylor Swift?
Matt, you can do anything you put your mind to, can't you?
No, I can't.
Yes.
I can't
Yes.
play in the NBA.
Well, you don't put your mind to that.
I couldn't score I couldn't get a 30 on the ACT.
You obviously didn't put your mind to that either.
Oh, I tried. We all have limitations in life, Erica.
Well, this is not one of those, Matt.
I'm just
I
trying
don't
to get
ask you
you
for
into the
anything
Erica.
with
I'm
tickets.
just trying to get you into that stupid show, okay?
Well, and it's not stupid, and yeah, I know. I'm being greedy with the meet and greet. That was greedy.
Yeah, it was. Like, what would you even say to Taylor Swift if you met her?
Hi.
You would just say hi. You would say hi. That's it?
And I would be like, you are, I don't know, Matt. I haven't planned it out yet. I don't know.
Would you start crying?
Yeah, you know I cry when I just watch their concert. I would definitely cry.
I know.
Why do I cry at that? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know why I had to pay to watch that stupid thing on TV. I didn't know we were paying for that.
Well, now you don't.
Well,
now
I understand that now,
Plus.
but we paid for it before we rented the concert to watch the concert on TV. The concert that she wants to go to.
Why do we pay for UFC fights, Matt?
But that's live action. We don't know the result. Like, you know the song she's going to sing and you're going to the concert.
Well, it's for the experience.
Oh, my God. All right, enjoy your fair meeting.
Y'all have a great evening.
See ya. That's Erica. All right, we'll wrap up with the Otterlocks next.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Hey, by the way, we're running out of time. The last day to enter for Gordon's Grads is coming up. So go to gordonsgrads.com, gordonsgrads.com. If you know someone who's about to graduate, a high school senior that's going to college or trade school, Gordon is giving them the opportunity to win one of a dozen laptops. You got to go to gordonsgrads.com to enter, gordonsgrads.com. All the eligibility requirements are there on the website if you want to check it out. The last day to enter is April the 30th. So, again, we are got a little less than 2 weeks remaining to enter. So you go to gordonsgrads.com, gordonsgrads.com, fill out the form, and you could be one of a dozen grads to win a free laptop courtesy of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $11,000 off the new 23 Dodge Charger. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $11,000 off the powerful new Charger. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Power up your next project with John Deere Deals by Sunshine. Whether you're working hard or playing hard, our knowledgeable team will help you find the right product for you. Ask us about our amazing tractor package promotions. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at Sunequip.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Pluckers. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Autolocks.
Autolocks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable, the incomprehensible, the fellow Williamson Eye Center patient himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Good, Matt. How about you?
Doing awesome. Where were your seats last night?
I was... so they have the court side, the first row, then there's like a little walkway. The first row behind the court side, behind Reggie Miller and Kevin Hart.
Oh, how about that? So you had a great...
I mean, yeah, like to the third row from center and fourth. So like split the middle pretty much. Yeah.
Yes, you had a great view of the Pels grabbing the throat in the second quarter and then Zion getting hurt late. Awesome.
Saw his best game, and his first playoff game, he played his butt off, man. He's kind of a one-man team last night, Matt. I mean, and then very unfortunately, he went down.
I know.
I mean, what do you do? So.
Well, you lose, and
you lose.
You try to come back and see if you can beat Sacramento for a 6th time this year on Friday. We'll see.
But no Zion for OKC, even though but I tell you what, it was popping last night when they came back and tied it up, man. It was a lot of fun.
All right, what we got tonight, man? KC rained out last night, and we were 0 for 2 on the NBA. So let's get back on track tonight, man. What are we looking at?
Let's get. All right, we're gonna take the Philadelphia 76ers. Embiid's back. They're at full strength. They're at home. So this is what we're gonna lay the points in that one.
So laying 5.5, or are we buying it to 5?
You're buying to 5.
Okay.
And they're gonna take the Bulls against the Hawks. This Murray and Trae Young thing is just not working well at all. So we're gonna go with the Bulls -3 at home.
All right, so Sixers -5, Bulls -3 are our two. We'll go with the 2 home teams.
Yep.
So we will doodle-doodle-doo. All right, so 2 plays in the association tonight. We looking at anything in MLB?
No, that's it, man. Everything's going off. Wednesday was all your Yankees came up with 4 at the top of the ninth to win 6-4. And the Astros blew one late today. So the A's won a game, but none of the 10 games were during the day today in MLB.
Good to see the old Las Vegas A's got themselves a win.
No, they're going to Las Vegas, man. I don't know where they're going. They're going to Sacramento.
Going to Sacramento. I don't know where they're going to play next year, but good luck to them. All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
Tomorrow we are at the Jolly Pearl Oyster Bar downtown.
That's right, Thursday.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather, man. Should be a great day for it. All right, Otter, we appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Okay, man. Good luck.
All right, have a great night. Jimmy Ott. Again, Otter locks every day to wrap up the show here, like the Sixers and the Bulls. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. As we get on down the road, I'm going to remind you about Michelli.com. Michelli.com. You weigh or measure something. They sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. They're just the best. Why ship your precision measurement equipment out of state to have it calibrated? Just let Michelli swing on by and pick it up. And honestly, 30 offices across 11 different states, they're near you. 76 years in business, going strong, still doing business face-to-face with a handshake. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, that's going to do it for us here on this Hump Day edition of AFR. We'll be back tomorrow. Looking forward to counting you down to Pels and Kings on Friday. Muse, Paulie, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow 3.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.